Hallo und herzlich willkommen, greetings and welcome, ich bin Hozat. This is the final summer tournament, the second stream, but still the first stage. I am your host and the organizer of the summer tournament series, NightDarkWolf, and I will be joined today by CoreData.
Hey guys, how's it going?
We have already had a stream a month ago. It was the first half of the first stage, so today we will do the second half of the first stage.
So we're going to be continuing with the schedule of having a stream on the first of every month, except for next month. We are having no stream next month, but we do return at the first week of October. Again, same with November and December. We'll also have a stream on the first week of January, but also the very final stage of this tournament will be cast on January 31st on the anniversary of Tesla's death.
So the first stage is the Challenge the Champion stage, where each player has challenged Please Don't Hack Me to 5 matches. Hack Me has set rules for the 5 matches, so we have built decks with different restrictions. We will go through them while explaining Hack Me's decks. And then in October we will do the mid-BM stage. Mid-range Battle Mage is a deck that every Tesla player should be familiar with, so this is why I forced everyone to play mid-BM in this stage. Then we will have a preset curve stage. This will mean that everyone build a deck for the same curve. It will be an aggressive curve. And after the third stage, 2 players will be eliminated, and we will continue with 6 players in the next stage, where everyone will play against everyone else. Here, we will bring one deck, our favorite deck, and we will play with that. Then 2 players are eliminated again, and we are left with 4 players in January. We will have a normal summer tournament stream, meaning that we will bring 4 decks, we will ban 1, and we play a round robin. Here the point gathering is ending, because in the normal stage we will go with win rates, so the 2 best win rates will proceed to the final stage on January 31st. This will be a best of 11 with 8 decks, banning 2, and then you have to win with the rest. Contrary to the other summer tournaments, the final summer tournament was an invitational tournament, which meant that the winners and the runner-ups were invited mainly to play in this tournament. And then to round up the numbers, I and CoreData have joined 2 as casters, and then we had Maggie Cat, who has battled against Yum Yum to get the 6th spot in the tournament. Both of them were 3rd places in earlier years, and Maggie Cat has won that. This is why we see this here.
So the players we have for this tournament are Nocturnal, the winner of the 2nd summer tournament. We have City Talker, the winner from the 3rd summer tournament. We have Ross Peerdal, who won the 4th summer tournament. Then we have Aros and Endozoa. They were runners-up in the 3rd and the 4th tournament, respectively. Magakit, who was the 3rd place finisher of the 3rd summer tournament. And then we have myself and NightDarkWolf to make up numbers, but also because we were casting, we never really got to compete in the other summer tournaments. So for me, this was an opportunity to play some very competitive players.
Yeah, and as I said it last month, I have a very special reason to be here, because every time in the final stage where only 4 players played, the last one always felt bad getting 3-0'd by the other 3. So here I am as literally the 8th player and probably the 8th finisher as well. We'll see.
NightDarkWolf is in here as the blood sacrifice upon the altar to make sure no one comes last.
Yeah, and no one should feel bad for playing in this final summer tournament. As I said, this is the second half of the first stage, so we have already gathered some points. Last month we watched Nocturnal, Megacat, City Talker, and Endozoa play against Hack Me. As we play 5 matches, each victory is worth 5 points, which means that Nocturnal won 2 matches and gathered 10 points. Same with Megacat and City Talker, and Endozoa has 5 points. So today we will watch the other 3 players, and then we will watch a montage of my matches, because when I play I cannot record Hack Me's hand, so it wouldn't be the same as the others. So I decided to do it in a montage format, and then we'll see how the final points table turns out. Hack Me set the rules for each of the 5 matches for deck building. For the first match you bring 2 decks, you ban 1, and then you have to win with the other.
So the first set of decks here for Hack Me is going to be House Telvanni. This is a Uprising Telvanni. It's basically a Telvanni conscription deck with Uprising as a massive value tool later in the game. Basically just looking to grind your opponent out really, really efficiently, as Telvanni normally does. And the second deck is going to be a Tribunal list. This is a Chanter Tribunal. A list not really seen that often. It used to be very, very popular. I think Michaela popularized it back in House of Morrowind, just because the interaction between Rising of Bones and Chanter of Akatosh is so powerful. But again, not a deck that was super common after that. Tribunal as a whole kind of fell off, but this has some slightly more mid-range elements in it, with things like Ordinary Dialm CV, as well as Grey Viper Brigand and Midnight Burial is a little bit of a draw engine. So it's going to be interesting to see this deck run. Again, like I said, Tribunal hasn't really seen the light of day in quite a while.
For the second match, Hackme gave a very simple restriction. You had to bring a dual color deck, and you cannot play support. So that's why we will see a 0 beside the support count in each of the players' lineups. So for Hackme, this will be a mage deck.
Hackme brought this very strange Chanter Mage deck. Now, some people will be very familiar with this deck. I believe this was like Abra's combo Chanter Mage. You basically use Chanter of Akatosh and the cheap 0-cost spells to essentially endlessly loop elusive schemers to draw your deck, and then from that point you can just win with Thorana and Ice Spike.
While this restriction gives you, like, the reason support were banned is that you won't run Divine Fervor decks all the way. The next restriction for deck 3 actually helps aggro, because here what we have is you cannot play Prophecies and you cannot play Ice Storm.
Yeah, and for the no Prophecy and no Ice Storm round, Hackme decided to bring a controlling Rage Ebonheart list. This is a little bit confusing to me. Not being able to run Prophecies and then bringing like a control deck is a strange choice. But out of all the control decks, to bring Rage does make the most sense, just because it's able to play from behind a little bit easier. You have a lot of comeback mechanics. You've got a lot of cards like Sanctuary Pet, Crossbows, Rage, obviously very, very powerful. Archer's Gambit is a huge piece as well of the puzzle when it comes to this. Interestingly, he didn't bring any copies of Squish to Wimpy. I think Squish deserves a place in these types of decks, especially if you're making use of things like Fork for Repellation. But aside from that, it's a pretty solid Rage Ebonheart list.
Yeah, I remember when Hackme sent me the restrictions, he said that he wants this deck to be aggro, this deck everyone brings, and then just a few lines later, I cannot bring aggro. I can't play aggro. Okay, I will bring control. And then he brought the control deck here. So for the next deck, these will be non-existent decks, in the sense that you wouldn't run something like this on ladder. You can bring only cards from cost 3 to 6.
Yeah, so basically you're playing cards in a 3-mana window, essentially, so from 3 cost to 6 cost. And Hackme decided to bring a mid-range Dagoth. Obviously the curves look very strange because you're starting at 3, but he's playing all the good Dagoth stuff, including some of the stuff you don't often run just due to space concerns, things like Lumbering Ogre, a one of Burn Clan Nightstalker in here as well. 3 copies of Jarl plus 1 copy of Ashcan, which is interesting. My disdain for Ashcan is well known. I think Triumphant Jarl is just a much better card in 90% of circumstances. But overall, pretty good list. You can't really go wrong with Dagoth.
And for the last deck, the restriction was that you have to bring 2 copies of each card in your deck, and if you're bringing a 3-color like Hackme is here, you were allowed to choose 1 card to have 3 of. Here you see that it is Elfiq, and it's not surprising.
Yeah, so Hackme brought a mid-range Guildsworn deck. Probably one of the better choices for this, just because mid-range Guildsworn is very, very powerful. And yeah, like NightDarkWolf said, all 2 ofs, you could bring 1 3 of if you were in 75. So naturally, the third Elfiq makes a ton of sense. Elfiq being one of the best cards in the game, obviously for mid-range deck especially. But yeah, I think NightDarkWolf was saying to me that something that good deck builders are known for is being able to distinguish when you should be playing 1 copy of something versus 3 copies of something. So this playing 2 copies of everything goes completely against every fiber of my being. So this was this was one of the more uncomfortable deck building experiences for me, just playing 2 copies of everything. This is just speaking from my own experience of doing this. But yeah, as far as the deck choice goes, mid-range Guildsworn made a ton of sense. So a solid bring for this restriction. Taking a look at A-Ross's decks here, first of all, we have the 2 free picks, the first of which is a mono-neutral deck. So this is a very weird-looking Dwemer / Osa deck, and it is entirely neutral for reasons only known to Ross. Personally, I would definitely be playing other colors in here just for the sake of consistency and the ability to potentially use some other tools. For example, having to run Knife to the Throat is not great. But this is very much a Ross deck, as you can imagine. Like I said, a couple of choice cards in here, things like Knife Throat, 2 copies of Giant Slaughterfish to go alongside the Osa. So yeah, an interesting deck. I do like the 1 copy of Dwarven Armaments in here as like Poor Man's Dawnbreaker. That's a nice little inclusion. And it was starting to pick up in popularity a little bit in Dwemer decks towards the end of Tesla's life. So yeah, it's an interesting deck, and I hope we get to see this one run. Next up for the free pick is this Nyx Ox Assassin. This is pretty much Nyx Ox Telvanni minus purple. So it is a Nyx Ox combo deck. You're looking to basically do the big pop-off turn with Nyx Ox's Doppelgangers, then play Giant Bat plus Mentor's Ring and just OTK your opponent. This deck is a little bit more consistent in the fact that it is more likely to hit his combo than Telvanni, but it lacks a lot of the control tools that Telvanni brings to the table, meaning that it might not survive long enough. This is a deck that I don't know too much about personally. I'm more familiar with the Telvanni build, so I'm interested to see how the Assassin functions. I know this is one of Ross's pet decks, so I'm guessing he's done quite a lot of work with this deck specifically, so I'm expecting him to be able to pile this at a pretty high level, so I'm excited to see this one played. And as we move on to the next deck, which is the dual color no supports, we're shown that we are guaranteed to see this deck played, as he brought this for the dual color no support deck as well. I'm pretty sure it is the identical list, so I'm not going to repeat myself too much. Then we have the no prophecies, no ice storm list, and Ross has brought Animal Scout. So this is a deck that looks to make use of Obstinate Goat as well as Shadowgreen Elder. Obstinate Goat is a very, very powerful card, 2 cost 3/2. Stop card rejects an animal, you just draw it. Very, very powerful, really, really cheap early game creature that gives you nice little bit of card advantage. And then Shadowgreen Elder is an insane board buff. Basically, it's a more expensive Murkwater Skirmisher, but it hits animals instead, which means it hits a much wider variety of... It's animals and Spriggans, rather. So it hits a much wider breadth of creatures. So yeah, very, very interesting deck. I am noticing the lack of like Slinking Jackal on 2, so the curve is a little bit off from what I would consider a more standard version. I mean, standard version of Animal Scout, who's... What am I talking about? But yeah, it's a strange deck. I'm excited to see this one played as well. Animals is a deck that I never really got a chance to experiment too much with, so I'm happy to at least see it represented some way here. Next up, we have the 3/6 cost, and Ross has brought Telvanni, sort of like a weird mid-troll Telvanni shell. Again, very hard to apply archetypal tags to these decks because you're working in such a narrow mana window. But this is a pretty heavy Telvanni deck. You're running a lot of the early control tools, such as you're playing Mummify just because you don't have access to things like Negation. 2 copies of Viper as well. Nyx Hound makes the cut in this deck, which is interesting because I don't think in this mana range there's very many things that Nyx Hound can hit, so it might just be played as a 3/2 drain body more than anything else. Just an interesting deck overall. It's difficult with these 3/6 costs to really nail down how they're going to perform, so I'm excited. we'll see. And finally, we have the 2 ofs, and Ross has brought a mid-range Battle Mage. This is probably one of the more powerful decks you could potentially bring for this 2 of restriction. This and like Guildsworn, I think, were the 2 that a lot of people were looking at. There's a lot of interesting tech choices in this deck. Like off the bat, we're seeing 2 copies of Conjuration Tutor. It's an interesting card. A lot of people in a standard mid-range Battle Mage, if they're playing any copies, they're playing 1 copy just to basically up the potential of things like Alfiq or Mighty Conjuring. But in this deck, we are seeing it run alongside Daedric Incursion to tutor out the Lava Atronach, which is a very, very interesting tech choice. I'm very, very into that. I think it's a super neat choice. We also have 2 copies of Clockwork Dragon, giving Battle Mage much needed drain. It is the one keyword that Battle Mage pretty much has no access to, so Clockwork Dragon makes a little bit of sense in that regard. But other than that, it's a pretty solid mid-range Battle Mage. And I do want to point out that all of Ross's deck were playing over the minimum 50 or 75 cards, which is just something to note.
And before starting the matches, obviously we have the first free-for-all match, and both players have 2 decks. They will ban 1. Hackme has the Tribunal and the Telvanni, and Enos has Mono Neutral and then the Nyx Assassin. What do you think will be the bans?
Oh, if you're Hackme, you're banning the one with colors in it. I think you take the chance of playing against the mono neutral, honestly. Because Hackme played quite a bit during the time where Nyx Ox was a deck. So I'm guessing Hackme will understand pretty quickly that playing, even like if it's not the standard Telvanni build, any version of like Nyx Ox combo is going to be problematic for his lineup to deal with, just because it can kill him from hand. So I'm expecting to see the assassin banned on a Ross's side here. As for Ross, I think you potentially ban the Telvanni. It's difficult really though, because the Chanter Tribunal, it's got a lot of removal, so it could high roll you, but so can the Telvanni. It's I don't know. It's difficult. I think you go for the safe pick. I think Telvanni is the safe pick for Ross.
One thing to note yet is that the players were allowed to sideboard before the matches, which means that they were able to change 5 cards in a 50 card deck, 7 cards in a 75 card deck before the match. For the sideboarding, all cards in the collection were allowed, so we will see some changes from the decks that we have discussed here, but now let's see the first match. We have Eros versus Blizzard and Hackney, and the Knicks stayed in, and then we have Tribunal against it.
Okay, so Ross did go for the ban that I suspected. Just take Hack Me off the probably his most comfortable deck and one of the more frustrating decks to play against, being Tavani. But Hack Me opting to ban them on a neutral is it's interesting to me. But
he just wanted to see the Knicks. He just wanted to see the Knicks.
Yeah, fair. I mean, he was gonna play against the next turn regardless. So as we get into game here, take a look at the opening hands. Hackman presented with a Chanter, Twilight, and a Burial, and Ross is looking at Doppelganger, Tinkering, and Giant Bat.
As you see the Twilights, they were sideboarded into this. Hackney added 3 Death Beasts, I cannot talk. 3 Death Beasts, 1 Dark Rebirth, and 3 Twilight, while removing a Cloud Rest, 3 Mammoth, and 3 Ice Storm. Eros did not change his deck.
Eros ditching 1 card, getting back a Fire Bloom. See the second Twilight plus a Rising Bones for Hack Me. Ice Storm for Ross. Ice Storm not really gonna do too much for a little while.
Especially against Tribunal.
Yeah, well, I mean, this deck is susceptible to Tribunal, thanks to like Rising of Bones and Chanter and stuff. But you're not gonna have an Ice Storm turn to like turn 9 when you can play Chanter plus Rising together. We're just gonna see Profiteer come down, likely in the opposite lane. I would like to potentially see this Brigand developed, but we're just, he's just using it to feed the Brigand. I see.
Yeah, you're not really afraid of this assassin until it gets to the combo turns.
Yeah, so Hackney is just gonna drop Brigand next turn, draw 2 cards. See Camel come down, taking Nixox, valuable combo piece. Fingers and Recruit do nothing else, pretty much, just control tools. Yeah, Brigand comes out, draw 2, finds Soul Tear and a Barrow Stalker. Soul Tear is a relevant pickup here, especially if this Viper takes the trade. This means you can Soul Tear back the Brigand, draw 2 more cards. Eros opts to not break the rune here, passes Sarioni off the top for Hackme. Gonna see Piercing Twilight potentially developed here. Taking out the Vipers.
That also means that there is only 1 Giant Bat left for the charge.
He does have the Lioness in hand at least, so he could tutor it if he finds a ring by the time the combo turn comes up. Or he can just Uprising for it, I guess.
Raise the ring, but Abnor might be better.
It depends on how fast he's looking to assemble this combo. If you're on the fast start for the combo, you take the ring. Does in fact take the ring. Yeah, Fire Blooms the Camel. Takes out the Twilight, this keeps the bat alive, just in case. It means you don't have to try and draw another one.
And because you're not likely to do the full combo, you have to start pushing damage phase.
I'll see Barrowstar come down, contest this. Potentially. No, goes for a Phalanx instead. Because we see Ancano off the top. Pretty solid top deck, actually. Playable next turn with Ring, but I think Rust is going to try and hold this Ring charge for combo. Difficult to say. I mean, he could Ring a Nixox just to get it on board. But with no combo piece in hand, probably not a good idea. Oh. It is going to commit to it. Okay. The Ox in Shadow. Are we just going to see a Mentor's Ring come down on this bat? Hardly. Because it can't get through the... It can't get through the Phalanx even with
Yeah,
the
but
ring, right?
if you already did this...
It is going to do it. It's just going to opt to push damage here.
Probably takes the trade, yeah, before going face.
See a Ren and a Fingers off the top for Hackme.
Fingers has to get rid of the Exox immediately.
They'll never get the best of us.
Yeah, Phoenix gets it for 5.
May the ancestors
A Ren and happy to shackle down the
He's
Ox.
confident that Eidos does not have an uprising in hand. Or the second Exox, which he does. But...
See a Recruit off the top. Can I really target the Ice Storm here, which is a suboptimal target for it.
At this point, you
Question
probably
is-
just play the Nyx. I don't see this one being a combo match.
No.
Is why I would have played the Nyx. Acme's not running Dawn's Wrath.
Passes. Okay, Rising of Bones off the top for Hackme. We are at the stage where we can just Chanter plus Rising. Pull it out of 3 cost. Thanks to the Aren discount here. But we're just going to see, first of all, a Midnight Burial. We might see this Soul Tear come back for a Brigand. We're looking at pre-nerf Soul Tear here. 2 cost. God, I missed 2 cost Soul Tear. It was so good.
history.
See Fingers come out. Aaron takes the trade. Piercing Twilight comes down. Is going to get rid of the other Nyx Oxes. And Hackme is going to receive confirmation that there is one in the hand. He's only going to see 2 banished. See Rebirth off the top.
The interesting
the
thing
Aren.
with Nyx and Rebirth and Night Remember is that Rebirth is basically +2 Magicka on Nyx, and
Yeah.
then Night Remember is +3, so that's how the combo is trying to think. Eros is running a calculator in his head currently.
Yeah. Yeah, all these like blink and resummon actions, they all go mana positive, which basically lets you print mana to get to your combo. As we see here, Tyone come down, give Drain to the Twilight, gets in for 5. Tinkering's an interesting pickup here. You could take the trade with the 3/4, then Tinkering.
Now the unfortunate thing for Eros here is that if he develops the Laneth, then it will be just jabbed.
There is no Jav for Hackme, but
Oh,
he
that's
does
a
have
Chanter?
negation.
I can't
It's a
see
Chanter,
it.
yeah.
Alright.
He has negation, so he can silence it to take a trade.
I just saw the yellow 5.
No, that is a Chanter. Yeah, we see Tinkering. Oh, sorry, Jack Rebirth, yeah. Takes out the Twilight, stops the healing.
And breakthrough for 2 with Ice Storm.
Classic Ice Storm burn turn. Could potentially just Tinkering this Encano. Opts not to.
He's looking
This
to
is
do
going to
that
get
with
cleaned up by
Laneth.
negation. Yep. This is just going to get cleaned up by negation here. Brigand's going to draw like 3 cards. 4 cards. Find
Oh.
Edict.
Sort of.
Yeah, Camel gets Soul Tear. A Harpy off the top. We're just going to see Laneth come down here, I would imagine.
Has to be. What do you grab?
But Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you take?
There is no other Nixoxes anymore. Doppelganger is what you should.
The question, like, yeah, you could take Doppel at this point, but I think
sense
you
great power.
need card draw. I think you take Baroness potentially. Because if the Lanath sticks, you can play Baroness and then Tinkering.
Yeah, but if you bring out the... I'm just trying to count. Your Doppelganger, next turn you have 11, you go down to 9 with Nyx, you play the Doppelganger, you go down to 4, then you cannot combo. But if you do... Oh man.
Yeah, see, Ross has so few cards in hand is the issue. He doesn't have the tools.
Yeah,
Does
he-
go for the Baroness.
Stand up.
Yeah.
Give me strength.
The problem is that he doesn't have an Uprising in hand.
Yeah, see, at this point, with so few cards, you need value more so than you need combo pieces.
And here comes the Chanter.
Yep, Chanter plus Edict kills off the Baronet, or kills off the Lanath rather. Gets a Headless Zombie. Zombie is going to consume Sarioni.
Headless Zombie is so good.
Finds an Uprising.
Let's go then. My time is
Thieves Guild Recruit. Finds a Nitro member.
I would have considered not playing the TGR just because you have Uprising.
He played. The reason he played it was to potentially use it as sacrifice fodder to the Tinkering for the Baroness this turn. I think he was just playing a little bit too quickly.
Yeah, but you wouldn't tinker the Baroness, it's true.
Hmm.
You might tinker
Unless-
the Chanter.
Unless you tinker the Baroness and it hits a Lanath.
You tinker the Chanter and the Headless Zombie. Hmm?
You tinker the Chanter, it turns into Studium Headmaster, you draw 2 cards. Card draw problem fixed. Does go for Tinkering, finds a Night Talon Lord, sacks it, goes for Tinkering again. So yeah, this is what I was saying.
Manticore?
I mean, Supreme Atromancer wouldn't be too bad here. Manticora! Takes up the Chanter, leaves the 6x behind. Also not too bad with the Uprising.
Behold the light of the tribunal.
This is the Tribunal will come down fully active.
With the Uprising and the NTR in hand, the Super Metro would have been fire. But only if it doesn't get removed. And this
Death
is why
Priest
Hackme
hits.
tinkered in the Death Priests.
Yeah, hits the Nixox, and that is combo dead for Ross here. So this is now entirely a value game for Ross, and I don't think he has the value to keep up with this Tribunal deck.
This might be a match where he just decks out.
The Harpy come down. Nope, goes Nitro member to draw another card. Finds Doppelganger or Dark Reaper, and you take the Doppel here.
Your last shot is Dioda. You don't have
Yeah.
Larneth, you don't have the Nyxes, you don't have Ancano.
See, this is
Abner
the
gone.
issue. Like you don't have ways of generating mana anymore, so you have to win on board.
There is Oda and Path Mage left.
I just don't think Hackme, or I don't think Ross can go toe to toe with this deck without the combo here. As Sarioni comes down, it's gonna give the drain buff to the Death Priest. Guards up the lane. And Hackme is slowly gaining back to full health. We find a Mentor's Ring off the top. We can Uprising here.
Doppelganger Uprising. If you
Yeah.
want to draw.
No, I think you're Uprising without the Doppelganger first. Potentially. Because you need you need some form of removal here.
Oh,
Like Grey Fox
Grey
finds the
Fox.
Odiving. Yeah, Grey Fox is a great piece of value.
Do you keep the Oda or do you go for the Dark
No,
Wealth on the Grey Viper Brigand?
No, you take the Oda.
Just forget about
The Grey Fox.
everyone does.
Potentially go for a Headless Zombie here.
Definitely. And with Uprising, you can infinite loop the Uprisings on Headless Zombie.
Yeah, I think Headless Zombie is going to be your answer to a value game here.
Although you probably have
Let's go for
to
it.
Headless Zombie the Giant Bat.
I think he's going to play Odaving next turn, and then when the Odaving gets killed, he's going to Headless Zombie the Oda. Is what I'm guessing. Is the plan he basically needs to try and work into a situation where he can have the Odaving on the board when he finds a bat.
But will there be a next turn after the Oda?
I think there will be. I think this game, there's still a few turns left to go before we can really draw a conclusion, because Ross does have one or two ways he could potentially win here. If Hackme can't remove the Odaving, if he can't remove two Odavings, because at that point, Ross suddenly wins the board because Hackme can't play to it because he can just keep doppelganging and uprising. You can also Headless Zombie plus Doppelganger.
The reason...
Hit the Oda.
The reason
Plus
Ares is
Gatekeeper.
playing Neophyte is to get the Giant Bat's keywords, so now he can give Drain and charge to everything, but that costs 9.
Yeah, Neophyte is in here because of the Giant Bat and also Viper. It's a poor man's Ordinary Necromancer,
Yeah,
essentially.
the only problem is that the Vipers are gone.
Yes. Ross can go Headless Zombie. He can go... He's one off doing like Headless Zombie, Neophyte, Mentor's Ring.
Yeah.
You're gonna see Headless Zombie. Probably goes for Unglim. If you go Unglim here, your Path Mage pulls a 4-drop. Okay, Headless Zombie. This is the problem with not playing Telvanni, is you don't have ramp. So you're always stuck at 12. It makes these big, like, it makes the non-combo turns a lot harder. We see Grey Fox. Gets a negation. Negation is going to probably silence the gatekeepers to take the trade. The Ungulum shuffle in some assassins, but that is just going to be lethal on board. Attack with 6, attack with the gatekeeper. Or attack with the 4/4 rather. Does shackle down the gatekeeper. Still lethal though.
And that's
That
a
is
long
game
game
one to Hackme.
1. But still for Hackme.
Yeah. As soon as the Oxes were gone, it became a value game, and I don't think the Assassin has the tools to play a drawn-out value game, unfortunately. Interesting game 1 though.
And an interesting game 2 it will be, because looking at the next matchup, we have Nixox Assassin versus the Therana Ice Spike Chanter Elusive Schemer Zero Cost Mage, both of them trying to OTK.
Look at the opening hands here. Ross is going to be looking at... So, Hackme, full ships. Ross is presented with Odaving, Doppelganger, and Opportunist. You pitch everything except Opportunist here, I think. And I can see in Hackme's hand a Profiteer and a Schemer and a Gearwalk Spider.
Hackney
Keeps
got rid
doppelganger,
of a
interesting.
Neophyte and the Fire Bloom, added a Tinkering and something else that I did not write down, and then Hackney's changes are he got rid of an Altmer Flamestinger, and then got a Standwatch, got rid of 2 Mage's Trick, and got 2 Dark Rebirth.
Okay. Shackle down the gearwork just to try and get the opportunist in for another shuffle.
Preparations have been
And if Hackney plays the
Rough
Blue
jerk,
now,
no.
yeah, we have the Blackhand Messenger. 2 of them now.
Yeah. Plays the one that wasn't top decked this turn, which is a misplay. You always have to make your opponent think you top decked the answer. It does the most psychological damage.
if they see that you just played that.
Shuffles another opportunist in, goes for a second black hand. This is fine, Hackney wants these to die anyway. We find a bolt off the top, we go for Gearwork Spider, pulls back another one from the graveyard.
You could Dark Rebirth and Night Remember. if you
Night
want to.
Remember, yeah.
It's probably not the correct play. But
Not
it
just
would be
Night
funny.
Remember. You can Night Remember the Bandari just to get it out of the lane.
Night Remember the Bandari and then Dark Rebirth it.
Or you could just play Doppelganger in Shadow and copy the Bandari. Just keep going that way.
Too many options, and all of them wrong.
Yeah,
But
all of them are
passing
the
is also-
objectively incorrect option. Oh, he's gonna do the thing. He's gonna doppelgang it.
Yeah, otherwise you just pass and do nothing.
Uh,
And in this matchup, you're actually the aggressive deck.
no, you have to play it in Shadow Lane. You can't play it in Field. If you're committing to the doppelganger, you have to do it in Shadow Lane.
Come on, Russ. Even the timer is telling you to do it. No! We will see the other version.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just goes for the clear. That's the most reasonable line to have taken.
Probably I
That's
would
Acme
have just
passes.
passed.
Yeah.
And then we have some dead hands.
Chanter off the top for Acme. So this Chanter can, in fact, pull a schemer here. So see Firebolt. And then you Fire Bloom the Spider. It's going to pull a schemer out of the deck. And then you can
close
call the schemer. Yeah. Finding a Lightning Bolt off the top.
Interesting,
Acme,
he is
he's
considering
thinking
close
about
calling, yeah.
Yeah, he's
The
bouncing the schemer here. He knows about the ice storms and the fingers, so he knows he has to try and keep this this Chanter safe. Ooh, Twilight is a pretty good pickup. Because there should be a 4-cost schemer in Hackney's discard.
In that case, the other card that he tinkered in was the Piercing Twilight 1 copy that I did not write down.
Yeah, so Ross can remove the schemers here, but he's going to get confirmation that there is going to be one in the hand of Hackney when he sees only 2 banished. So that was the one that was played. That was one from the deck. You know there's 3 copies, so you know there was one sitting in his hand. But this is fine because, well, it's not really fine because you can just Fire Bloom the schemer, put another 0-cost schemer in the deck, and you can pull it with the Chanter, which means the Twilight dies. Ross's plan here was just to doppelgang the Twilight and remove the 0-cost schemers after the fact, I think.
Gotcha.
Acme gets in for damage. Holds the Twilight.
Doesn't want him
Brigand.
to trigger the summons anymore.
We see
Oh.
Uprising off the top. This is a pretty dire hand for Ross here. But I don't think you're in a position where you want to Ice Storm or anything.
Well, the
Honestly,
funny
I
thing
think you
with
let
this hand is that you're one draw away from having a gut hand.
Well, yeah, Storm, which I think is correct. You want Hack Me to apply some pressure here. I don't think he's going to break the rune, is the problem. As much as you want him to break the rune, because you need the card draw.
Oh,
Hack Me is going to drop into 26.
26 and goes face.
Break the rune. Interesting. Okay. As a forked bolt off the top with the schemer. Baroness is a great draw here.
Now you have to decide if you Ice Storm because you think that Hackney will go face again, or you play the Baroness.
I think you just play the Baroness.
I think Hackney would go face.
Yeah, see, I'm okay. I would have been okay with him going face because he's going face for what, like 9, 10, 11, he's going face for 11, drops you to 12. You get 2 card draws plus the Baroness is on board. I mean, at that point, he's drawing you towards your combo. I don't know. I would have been okay taking the damage that turn. That's just me, though. Acme is just going to go for Chanter. Standwatch is going to probably find a Shimmering Peddler. Finds a Profiteer. Draws a Peddler, though. Forked Bolt is going to pull out one of the Schemers.
Nice try. Care to go again?
Can help draw a card. Finds another Standwatch. This is going to play the Peddler here. It's going to override a Schemer, I would imagine. Standwatch is first.
Looking to make a
Draws a Firebolt. And get a Schemer from deck. Or a Peddler, rather.
Fingers.
We see Fingers.
1 on the Bruma, 2 on Chanter, 3 on Peddler.
I think so. Those are the 3 high priority targets on the board, so. Interesting. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, makes sense. You don't really care about Hackme's life total. You're going to kill him in 1 turn anyway.
Yeah, the only problem is if he gets out of your lethal range.
That's like 4. He needs like 40 something health, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Uh-huh.
Spends the Neophyte, okay.
You'll not be rid
Hackme just draws the 0-cost Schemer off the top.
Believers shall flock to our noble cause.
Fire Bloom. Pulls another one from the deck.
Nice try. Care to go again?
Draws a Thorana. Dark Rebirth.
You'll not be rid of me that easily.
Draws a card. Finding.
Your coin or your life.
Brilliant Experiment. Gets a Brigand. Draws another card. Finds an Execute. Experiment on the... We'll go for the Brigand. Interesting. I thought he would have gone for the 0-cost Schemer here. Gets another Brigand. Draws a card. Finds another 0-cost Schemer off the top. As Ross draws into one of the Bandaris that was shuffled in. So this one will draw a card when he plays it.
Go down to
I don't-
3 with this.
My time
Oh,
is
Ooh,
Oda.
10 cost Oda. It's very interesting.
Let's go then.
Dark Rebirths.
My time is
Draws a
precious.
card. Finds Ring. Finds Pass Mage.
That
5
makes
cost
it
Pass
5.
Mage.
Oh, we have an Ixox next turn.
Yeah, it's an Ixox, yeah.
And we have a
And
Dark
you have-
Rebirth. It's game over.
You have Doppelganger and a Dark Rebirth.
It's game over.
surprising.
The Nixox will
Yeah.
win it. Oh. Unless Ares messes up the combo, but Ares should not mess up the combo.
Justice of Akatar.
He's
I'm-
playing
oh, I'm guessing-
forces.
I'm guessing that was a sideboard card for like value.
Probably.
Bolt.
Nice try. Care to go again?
Oh, I love this combo.
Yeah, so Path Mage, I think the only 7 cost in... Well, there's 2 7 costs in Eros's deck, which is Path Mage and Nixox. But if you Path Mage and it pulls a Path Mage, it'll eventually pull a Nixox, and then you can Doppelganger with the 5 it gives you back. You can Dark Rebirth, which then gives you another like +2, so you're at 8 mana at that point, or 7, which is enough to Uprising. Then you can go through the motions. You can start playing out cards. The Uprising, Mentor's Ring, kill your opponent. We do have the charge in hand with the Bandari. But Hackme is just going to go through a big life gain turn here.
Almost at 40.
Almost at 40. Goes to 39. But this should be lethal.
Yeah, you will also have Oda, so you will be able to go for 45.
Yeah, so Path Mage.
You have to decide if you want to play the Nyx first, yeah, because Nyx was 5.
Yep, Path Mage. Pulls a second Ox, and then you go for Doppelganger here. Copying a Nixox.
Then go for Laneth with Dark Rebirth on the Path Mage. Yes. And then here comes the Uprising
Yeah.
turn. You have the combo, you have also the Oda, so you just need as many magic as you can get. And
Uprising
is the way.
Uprising, probably going to find himself a bat.
At this point, it doesn't even matter you won because of Oda.
Yeah. I think the bat is just the flashiest thing to go for. Yeah. And then we Uprising again.
And now you're racing the timer.
Yeah, generate another 15 mana here, and then you go for... I mean, you don't need anything else.
Baroness. Grey Fox. Grey Fox is another trigger. You're playing with fire, Ross.
Steel Terran, Giant Bat, and then Mentor's Ring, and then Swing. And we don't know Prophecies, so this will just be a decisive game over here.
And he was able to connect all the lines in time. Yes, he was.
And that is a GG to Ross. That is proving that Nixox is a much better combo deck than Abracadabra Mage.
And also he must feel very proud to beat Hackme with his own Nixox variant. Eros was working on the deck all the time, always changing some cards here and there. Which is funny because there is no final version of his Nixox, because he sometimes scrapped it, sometimes just changed some cards. He did not find the optimal version because he always wants to tinker with a new one. And now Animals against the Control Ibn Heart.
Oh, this is the no prophecy one. Never mind. The last one was prophecy. I totally forgot.
Yeah, the last one was Dual Color, no support.
Yeah, as we see, double Automaton and Shadow Gleam. Going to drop 1 Automaton plus Shadow Gleam Matron, and finding a Mammoth and a Mud Crab. And Hackme is going to find Althalothi, Thorn Hiss Mage, Viper, and a Gambit.
Ross has a nice curve in the first 3 turns.
Yeah.
Not as nice if you consider that the Regiment Trap is a 2-1.
I mean, it's still a body.
Yeah, but I'm used to 2-4 1 cost.
As the Sanctuary Pick come down, just shackle down this Althalothi. Hackme, just considering his options here, is just going to develop a Imbued Bosmer in front of his Sanctuary Pet. All the time threatening with Crossbow and Gambit by doing this. Ross gets in for 2. It's like he's going to trade off this Sanctuary Pet.
If you go for
And
Mammoth,
then
it will be punished.
Yeah.
You have the ring, so you could do Automaton and Skin Hound.
Yeah, I think Automaton plus Skin Hound is probably the correct choice here.
Drop the Skin Hound in Shadow, so you can trade next turn if Hackme doesn't Gambit. I know
think
you really want to play in field.
Yeah, I think you ignore it. You put the buff on the crab. Well, I would have put the buff on the crab personally, but you see Blackwood Distiller come down. He's in a shadow to threaten the pilfer. You see Obstinate Goat. Ross is gonna get in. Probably gonna see the goat come out here. Finds a Cliff Racer off the top. Bring Mammoth in shadow.
Now Hackme has to decide if Gambit goes for the double clear with
No,
the
he's gonna go for
Mammoth,
the-
or just goes for the double
He's
ramp.
going for ramp.
Oh, of
Yeah,
course.
he's going for ramp. This accelerates him into Dark Seducer next turn, so this is the most potent play, at least for now. See Dwarven Dynamo off the top. So Dwarven Dynamo appears to have been a sideboard card. Dynamo lands on the automaton here. Probably trade the goat. Kind of have to. The automaton can go face.
Yes, Ares
Change
got
consider.
rid of a Skin Hound, an Elderly Matron, a Sanctpath, and 2 Mountain Lions, and gained the Dynamo 2 times, Night Remember, and 2 Jackals. So your Jackals that were missing are here now.
Hackme goes for a clear turn here and plays a second distiller.
At the same time, Hackme
Angles.
did a bunch of changes, but all of them just one-offs.
Cliff Racer gonna come down here, probably go face as well.
We're so close. And then there is the Dark Seducer.
Ankle Snapper gets in for 1. You have to go for the giant bat here if you're going for Ankle Snapper. You need the burn. Takes him down to 9. Cliff Racer will take him down to 5. See Hist Mage. Hackme just does not want to develop the Seducer. Hackme is absolutely playing with fire here by not developing
Mutant
this.
Cliff Racer, you have 7 damage.
2 off.
So even if Hackme develops the Seducer next turn, there will be lethal top decks.
Scout support. Leaves it on top and draws a Shadow Shift. Takes a trade. Plays the Seducer in Shadow
Walk with our Lord.
and passes. Ross draws a Mammoth,
And
and,
it's
that is game over. Yep.
I
Dark
did
Seducer
not
in
like
play and
keeping the Cliff Racer, but I understand
you-
it.
you needed the burn.
But if you do the Cliff Racer, then even a giant bat would have been lethal.
Yeah, they're playing the Cliff Racer and getting the damage in makes a lot of sense because Hackme is going to put the Seducer down in front of the threatening thing anyway. So if Hackme has a guard, it's going in front of wherever you just played your creature, which means you're going to have one lane open most likely.
Yeah, and
So there's plenty.
even if you would have drawn Cliff Racer this turn, you wouldn't have been able to play both.
Exactly, you needed to play the Cliff Racer to free up hand space to free up mana to be able to play one of the next turn. Because if you drew Cliff Racer as lethal, Elderly Matron potentially gives you Cliff Racer. That's going to be eight mana total, 3 for the Matron, 5 for the Cliff Racer. So yeah, you needed to play the Cliff Racer to guarantee if you top decked something.
Yeah, the only ailment to this theoretical wound is that he would have died anyway.
Yeah,
The victory is yours.
and that
that's
is
it.
GG. Dark Seducer and Aelid Guardian seal it up.
Now, if we go by what happened last stream, then Aros is supposed to win 1 more, either with the Telvanni or the Battle Mage. Which one is more likely to win?
In theory, this Telvanni queues up well into 3 to 6 cost Dagoth because it has things like Mummifying Viper to take out the big things. But I don't know, man. This 3 to 6 cost one throws me for a loop.
Because, you know, the Dagoth was very potent and Hackme's hand.
I mean, Hand of Dagoth is a hell of a card. Shout out to when hand was a 5-5.
No. No shoutouts to that.
We're gonna see a number of passes back and forth.
And of course, Eros is running Mentor's Ring in this one.
Yeah. Doomfang ally in the hand of Hackme though is pretty good. We saw Doomfang pretty much single-handedly carry him in one of the earlier games, just because it's very difficult to deal with warded threat in this with this restriction, because all the early game removal just doesn't do it. Rolls lethal, unfortunately, so Ross is going to be able to get a trade here with the contract. Could potentially save it for an Abner turn later. Trades. It's the contract. Ring, Camel. I think
The
he takes
Scourges and the
Scourge.
Mentor's Rings are the sideboards for Hackme. And also, just for your interest, he decided to add 7 cards. He decided to not cut any.
Wait, Ross?
Yes, so he was playing with
83?
yes.
Why do people do this to me?
Gives Hackme the general ladder experience.
Yeah, you know what? True. Certified Tesla moment. As we see Vision Ancestor come down. Mummify off the top.
The real play here is to play Mentor's Ring on the Camel and then trade.
Ooh, Alfiq. You have to take the Alfiq.
Obviously.
Still take the Alfiq.
For a moment, we got buried there.
Torval Extortionist comes down behind this Ancestor. It's a very difficult field lane to deal with. See Catspaw off the top for Ross. Goes for a Mummify.
That was worth a Mummify.
Yeah.
Ramping 4 Magicka, even if temporarily, is no joke.
Yeah, this Vigilant Ancestors call is making the lane super awkward for Ross to deal with. The Mountain Lion come down, it's going to give him +1. Probably just going to see Mountain Lion plus Corner Club. Ditch a Mountain Lion. Mountain Lion, okay.
One thing we have to look out for is the Saurus Marshal.
See, Mirtharn.
It's probably considering the Alfiq. And maybe
Yeah.
he wants to ignore the Alfiq, but if you play the Alfiq there just for protection, then it will be removed. It's still the correct play.
Yeah.
You need the bunnies.
My instinct is play it in Shadow Lane personally, just to guarantee that try and guarantee that try to guarantee that the 3/3 sticks.
Must I do everything myself?
Catspaw. Contract Nick sound. Yeah.
Oh, I see what he's trying to do.
Abner Nick sound. I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
That will be nice. Even if you lose to this, you get the style points, Ross.
I have done this before, but it was in draft. And it does feel absolutely incredible when it goes off.
I wonder if Handbuff Scout would have been a deck, then Nixhound would have been played more.
No, all we're missing is Drez Tormentor for this.
Come on, bring out the Abner.
Why did I think Nixhound had Drain? Oh, was it the Green Fabricant that had Drain?
Green Fabricant. What was the Green Fabricant? The
I
Kaguti
can't
had
remember.
Drain, the yellow one.
No, the Kaguti didn't have Drain. The Kaguti was just a mini Golden Saint. It just if you control the neutral,
Oh yeah,
summon
then
another
yes,
3/3.
yes, the agility one had Drain because I have been playing that and I, for some reason, I thought that it's the yellow.
1 second. Legends Fabricant.
It was a 3/3 Drain and you shackled if you had a
Yeah.
neutral.
Okay, yeah, that's why I was getting confused. It was a Nixhound, just the Fabricant version of a Nixhound.
I played it in the Shrine decks, in Assassin
okay.
and Scout.
Oh yeah, because your Shrine triggers it. Interesting.
And the Shrine was the only trigger.
Oh, of course.
Now the problem is that because Ares decided to play the Avnur in the Shadow lane, you still have a field lane to worry about. And that 6/4, 6/7/4 now won't get endless intimidating. Oh, Lamborghini Prince. You have to trade. You have a Scourge and the Blackened Messenger. It's not enough.
The Night Mother will guide us.
Oh, you go for the drain. That might be good, but there's still the field.
Yeah, you're still looking at what, like 15 damage in field here.
For the Ashcan.
Acme also has 8 damage in hand with this Battle Mace plus Bolt. So Acme's just gonna drop the his Elfique here.
Khajiit will keep you safe.
Interesting
considering
for
what-
the ritual.
Yeah, just try to ensure it takes 2 trades here. See an Elfique in response from Ross.
Problem is, if you Elfique, you can't play anything else. This whole board state is the doing of that Vigilant Ancestor,
Yeah.
single-handedly closing field lane.
Yeah, a 3-cost 5/4 with guard is no joke.
Rise, my son.
Even if permanently shackled.
Oh yeah, I mean that doesn't matter. It still kills things. Yeah, it just makes trades. It makes taking field very, very awkward because it's going to take multiple things out.
Ice Storm will be nice if you survive.
Yeah, so you trade the 3/5 first. You get your 2 damage drain off the face, and then heal for 5.
And next time
You-
you can
you do-
Scourge Ice Storm.
Yeah,
Clears
you get to
everything.
Ice Storm.
Well, let's see if we can.
You do get to Ice Storm. I don't think you die here, right?
For the Ashcan.
8 and 8, 16. 16, 24, 31. No, he should be dead here. It should be exactly lethal, if I'm not mistaken. It's in for 4. Play this battle. I am wrong. Hold on. I did the math wrong someplace. Never mind. He was 2 off. Okay. But this is a...
Still dead. Because
Yeah.
Scourge
The,
and Ice Storm doesn't solve it because
the
the
battle mace.
8-3 has a ward. Yep. You have to Scourge Ice Storm and you still lose. And no guards can stop this because the...
The breakthrough on
what's
the
the
94.
breakthrough? Yeah.
On the Punisher.
Yeah, Ashland the Punisher, that one. We'll just go through the 3 reminders, so you can do that.
Is there anything you can get off Soul Tear?
No. Nothing that will deal with this board.
Yeah.
You would need a 1 Magicka double shuttle.
Yeah, it's gonna seal it up. The battle mace was enough. Attack Me takes a 3rd game versus Ross, which means by default it has to be this 2 of 1 that Ross wins white, right?
And it's actually a better deck because it's a battle mage and a mid-range
Yeah.
battle mage. So, and usually the dual color deck has advantage against the 3-color deck if they are the same.
I would argue not in this instance because Hackme gets to play 3 copies of Alfie.
Maybe.
Yeah, this is what I miss about Tesla, was that a lot of it was just playing things with good stats. Was like good. Alfiq in a vacuum is a like pretty poor card. It's a 3/3 that summons a dude, but like the raw stat output of it when it's activated is just so it's so good. God, I miss Tesla for this exact reason. The board centric nature of it. But as we do see the 2 copies of Elfiq in the hand of Ross plus Clockwork Dragon, I would be very tempted to keep the 2 Elfiqs, I'll be honest. These are the only 2 Elfiqs in your deck. He keeps 1, okay. Does in fact keep 1. Finds a Manic Jack, which you can play on turn 2. Hand for Hackme here is Reclaimer, Rapid Shot, Cradle Crush, and a Douche. Skaven Pyromancer off the top for Ross chooses to just pass. I mean, can't do anything anyway. Rift Sign off the top for Hackme.
Really, turn to play shuts down the Mag Jack.
Ooh,
But
Firebolt,
Ada's
top
drew
deck.
into Firebolt.
Very good top deck here.
You could Mag Jack in Shadow if you want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You ring out Manic Jack in Shadow Lane. Next turn, you can maybe Skaven. He's just gonna go for the Firebolt here. He's gonna choose to not develop for the turn.
Well, let's see if we can find something.
See
useful.
Sentinel Reclaimer come down.
Reclaimer
You find
makes playing
Conjuration.
this Mag Jack. Yeah, not optimal.
Behold, my
Gonna
magnificent
bring up the
monster.
mutation and kind of pray for a ward here.
Charge!
Finds charge.
Ooh!
That is the best outcome.
1 in an 8 chance.
Mm-hmm.
We must
Douchnik Yall Archer comes down.
You should have
Why?
played the Rapid... Oh, because you don't have Magic for the Rapid
Yeah.
Shot. Sorry. Makes sense.
If I was Ross, I would be considering bolting this just to keep the Jack alive for the turn. But Destroying Thief off the top does change that a little bit.
My paws are quicker
Does go
than
for
your
Thief.
hand.
Goes for the trade. Ships it over as we see Gavel of the Order off the top. Rapid Shot cycle. Finding a second Cradle Crush, we go for the second Sentinel Reclaimer. Play a dagger, just offer the trade. Ooh. I mean, you swing in for 3. You probably ditch the Skaven, ring out Alfiq.
Play the Conjuration Tutor, play the Elfic next turn.
Oh yeah, fair. Fair. Sorry, Conjuration Shooter is a card that I have kind of blinders for. I so very rarely played it.
The only time I saw it played, it was played by City Talker
Yeah, that sounds about right.
and Person of Secrets in the Farewell tournament.
Yeah,
But
no,
that's it.
I played it the month it came out as a reward card. I played like experimented with it, but that was like back in 2018. As we see Cradle Crush come down, this does get answered nice and cleanly by Rapid Shot. You can Rapid Shot trade, ring out the tutor.
Now the problem is, if you don't go face, the moose will draw too.
Does go face. Finds a Belligerent. That's a really good. It's a really good pickup this turn.
You should ditch Mentor's Ring, but Eiros will not ditch Mentor's Ring.
Ditches the Rapid Shot.
Of course.
Nah, that's not a chief. That ain't a chief.
Was
Second
this
Cradle
Mentor's
Crush.
Ring sideboarded into the deck?
No, I do
No,
believe
there was
two
no
Mental String.
sideboard for the last match.
Yeah, it's Ross. There's always at least two Mental's Ring in the deck. As he finds second Jack off the top. You need to develop this Conjuration Shooter at some point.
I would have
Yeah,
been
see,
fine with Belly Giant because you could Conjuration Tutor and Manic Jack next turn.
No, he should have ideally done this on turn 6 when I suggested like Rapid Shot trade and then play the tutor, because the tutor's on board by itself. It sticks for the turn pretty much. But like,
You remember that Rapid Shot?
yeah, it would have been really great around now. But we are gonna play an Alfiq and just fill the lane with Atronox here. Spinner's a great top deck at least. Spinner does deal with this.
But it doesn't let your tutor survive.
Yeah, unfortunately your tutor turns are past. Is just gonna go for the Alfiq here.
The bodies are more important than the drain.
Makes a second one infield. Considering ringing out the Manic Jack here. But Ross has to consider the fact that Hackme, I do believe, is running Rage. I mean, you could roll the dice in the manipulation.
It tries
It's drain,
to go for
okay.
the charge.
You see, like, yeah, you could do that on. It makes sense on the Atronach because it's already got a keyword, it's got breakthrough, which means it's 1 in 7 for the charge. Same thing with the tutor. You could have played on a tutor for the 1 in 7 to roll board. Since it's already in play, it's already not like it doesn't have summoning sickness, so it can't roll charge. Moose comes down. This is going to be your belligerent target. Incursion. This does let you ring out a Lava Atronach.
Which will be answered by Fel the Mighty in Hackney's hand.
Just going to see Manic Jack ring belligerent, maybe. As for the incursion line, it's going to have 1 extra health for the gate. So it's going to be an 8-9. That's this Belligerent Giant
belly.
for Hackme. I think you bounced the Atronach.
Yeah, you don't need to use the Fel anymore. You can just push
Yeah.
face. Oh, Fear Totem.
Fear Totem. You can Fear Totem bounce the Moose. I believe Hackme is at full hand? No, one off. So Hackme does get to replay this Atronach, but it doesn't have attack anymore. Goes for the Atronach plus Hunger plus Belligerent, bounces the Atronach, takes the trade. Heartbeat for us.
Wouldn't a Cradle be nice here?
It certainly would.
But when wouldn't a Cradle be nice?
Earthbound Spinner can clean up the 5-1.
Will not suffer your presence.
The problem with playing the Belly Giant on the Belly Giant is that you would just start the dance.
Yeah, so
You Harpy,
This
you
isn't-
check.
yeah, this isn't the time for belligerent wars. They have a time and a place, and usually it's when you want to tax your opponent, because if you put your opponent in a position where they have to keep continuously bouncing your belligerent giant, but you keep doing it back, it means you're winning.
You need a single creature on the board for that.
This Lavatronk is going to get felled
Ah,
very,
okay.
very quickly, I think.
And it's 15, 20, 24 damage on board.
Yep, in for 8, see what happens. No prophecy.
Harpy could stop this.
God Almighty.
Not anymore.
Nope, steel swords. And the
this
dagger is exact, please. Yeah.
And this will mean that Aeros only gains 5 points. Or
Is
1
that
to
the-
Hackme. This is the second one after the Endezo one last month.
Oh, yes, Endo also went 4-1. Or 1-4, rather.
And we'll be back with the next match in 5 minutes. And welcome back to the final summer tournament. We will be looking at Rospidol versus Please Don't Hack Me in the first stage of the tournament. Let's look at Rospidol's decks.
Rospidol for the first deck. This is the first of the free pick decks. Has brought a mid-range battle mage. Not too much to really say about this. There's one or two interesting deck building choices in here. Mostly a standard mid-range battle mage list. The most interesting thing here is that RPD has opted to go for one copy of Discerning Thief. There's 2 copies of Doomfang in the list. Doomfang kind of fell out of the deck a while back. Very interesting to see that they've opted to run 2 and cut 2 Discerning Thief. Discerning Thief is one of the most powerful cards in mid-range battle mage, one of the most powerful cards in blue in general, just for its ability to shape your hand, as well as being a 3-cost 3/4. The stats are premium. But this is a deck that is running Cunning Ally as well, so a little bit interesting deck choice here when it comes to like ally percentages and stuff. Aside from that, not too much to say. He is running one copy Telvos Maestro, which started to become the norm a little bit more as the game was going towards its sunset, and the one copy of Aspect of Hearsay, which also started to become pretty normalized across a lot of the top players. The second free pick is a mid-range Guildsworn, one of my favorite decks, so I'm very, very glad to see it's represented here. Not many people bringing Guildsworn aside from maybe for like the 2 ofs decks. Not too much to say about this. 1 or 2 interesting choices yet again, like 1 copy of Cloudrest Illusionist. I don't know why people were doing this. Why weren't you running 3 copies of Cloudrest? One of the single best prophecies in the game, one of the best cards in the game in creature-based matchups. I will never understand people cutting Cloudrest. Aside from that, 1 copy of Douche Nicky All, 1 copy of First Spoon Spinner, 1 copy of Aspect of Piercing at the top end, 1 copy of Walls and Carn has also been interesting. 2 copies was kind of more normal, but instead opting to run like the 3rd Belligerent and the 3rd Creative Crush. Aside from that, pretty straightforward list, not too much to say, just some interesting quantity choices when it came to like prophecies and some tech choices. Next up for the dual color no support list, it is just a repeat of the battle mage we saw before, similar to what Aros did. So we will be seeing this regardless at some point this series. So not too much to say. Like I said, I've already said my piece in this deck, so we'll just move straight on to the no prophecies, no ice storm deck. And this is a mid-range archer with a move package. So this is a really, really interesting deck. Super stoked to see mid-range archer. One of my historically favorite decks. So very excited to see this. So the move package is basically to enable Dune Ripper, 1 copy of Bewildering Speed, you've got 2 copies of Dune Smuggler, and then 2 copies of Dune Ripper. Dune Ripper is actually an insane tempo piece of removal. It is very, very good, and its ability to just randomly move lanes and pick up smuggler buffs is not to be overestimated. Super, super cool deck. Very excited to see this one played. Next up, we have the 3 to 6 cost deck, and we have another Dagoth Enjoyer, one of possibly the best choices for this restriction, just because Hand of Dagoth is a nuts card. Some super, super interesting tech choices in here as well. 3 copies of Red Mountain, which was a really heads-up pick for this format, as well as 3 copies of Stronghold Eradicator, a card I absolutely love, but never really got the chance to experience when it was at the height of its powers. Never got nerfed, just kind of fell out of play. There was just better things to play on 5. It's a 5-cost 6/6 that gives all your opponent's creatures guard, so very, very useful for picking off things that are hiding behind like a Hive Defender. Super, super cool tech choice in this deck, and with the Red Mountain, it's going to cost 3. So yeah, super cool deck list. Very, 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 very excited to see this. Some very, very cool cards in here. And finally, for the 2 ofs, we once again have a Rage Guildsworn list. Not too much to say about this. Again, pretty much straightforward Rage Guildsworn, all the good stuff. You're playing 2 copies of everything because that is the restriction. Because it's 75 cards, Ross got the choice of an extra copy of 1 card, and that is obviously going to be Alfiq. I think every single person in this 2 ofs has had like an extra Alfiq, which is just very entertaining to think about. So yeah, very, very cool lineup from Ross Beardall. Very, very mid-range focus, so this is right on my alley.
And as we did every time before, let's try to figure out the bans we have on Hackme's end, the Tribunal and the Talvani. Rospidol is playing Battle Mage and Guildsworn.
I think if you are Hackme, you're probably going to ban the Battle Mage. Mid-range Battle Mage is one of those decks that's just always good. It's particularly good into Hackme's lineup just because his decks are very, very slow and dirtily. He needs to sit around for a couple of turns to accrue value. And I think the Battle Mage is probably going to be able to punish that much faster than the Guildsworn deck. Then again, the Guildsworn is very threatening, but it's going to take a while to spool up before it can threaten to kill you. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Battle Mage banned out. And if you are Ross Doll, you're probably going to ban the Telvanni. The Tribunal is a really, really weird deck. Again, it's very difficult to kind of analyze it from just looking at the deck list. It's something you need to play against and experience. So I think you just kind of ban the known quantity, which is Telvanni.
And here we see the bans. It was the Tribunal
completely
and the
wrong.
Guildsworn.
Completely incorrect. All right, cool. As we get into game 1 here, I'm going to take a look at the opening hands. Hackme has a Viper Firebloom and Fingers, ditches the Viper and Firebloom, gets back a Bandari and a Recruit, and Rosperdal is going to be opening up with a Harpy, Garnag, and a Doomfang. Also on the ring, as we see Hackme drop the Bandari and immediately shuffle one in.
Rospidol got rid of a Skaven, a Belgian Giant, and 2 Harpies, shuffled in a Bites Incarnate, a Temple Conjurer, and a Dissonant Thief. Please Don't Hack Me got rid of Flash Shatro, Whodunit, Manimarco, Grey Fox, Linet, and an A-Lead to gain 3 Fingers, an Emeric, a Wardcrafter, a Mute, and a Mummify.
Okay, it's just going up on removal for this mid-range matchup here. So we're gonna see Doomfang ally come down in Shadowlane. It's gonna roll a ward.
It is a clever move because the Talvani would struggle against the
Watch yourself now.
wards and the high-stat creatures that the Battle Mage can put out.
Temple Conjure, but you want to save the ring charge for this?
Oh no!
I
Garnet.
think you're just.
Don't play the
Yeah, I
Breton.
think-
Don't play the Breton. No!
Oh, this is gonna get hard punished by negation.
Mm.
Easiest negation of Hackme's life. This is the trouble with playing out Breton Conjurer into decks that run silence, like Telvanni, like red-based mid-range decks that you can expect spinners from. It's a card you can't really play unless you have an activator for in those specific matchups. Hackme probably thinking about removing the ward from this this Doomfang.
Still playing it turn 3 was the most likely to survive.
Probably just gonna play Garnag out.
No other choice though.
Must protect the Night
Yeah.
Mother.
Garnag comes down.
And
Negation
Hack
of
me
stop
doing another
Hackme.
negation. You could do
Hackme
negation,
drop.
trade Firebloom.
Blood will spill.
I think we're just gonna see Viper Firebloom. What goes Sun and
Sun
Shadow?
and Shadow.
Okay, Sun and Shadow plus Firebloom.
And in Shadow, grabbing fingers. You just shuffled some of them into
Well-
the deck. But you have
Well, you
one.
have fingers in hand, so
We must count on our wits.
Grab throw.
I don't know what you pick here.
I think it's still fingers. You will need it. Could you
Go for
also
Ice
go
Storm.
for the Mummify if you fear the Aethernox and don't
And
want to
hits.
let off the trigger?
Hits the 50-50 on the Firebloom, kills the Garnag. Doomfang gets to take out this Warcrafter. Oh, the Ice Storm was a very heads-up pick actually, going into the Conjurer turn here.
The 3.
You could also just go Scout Support Fingers, take out the Atronach and the ally. He's just gonna fire off Ice Storm. That draws a Rapid Shot, but we can just go for a second Conjurer here. Rapid Shot cycle. Plays the Conjurer.
The light of the 3.
Back as Hackme finds a Shrieking Harpy up top. Cast Report. Discards. Finds an Uprising. I wish we could check what the discard was. But alas. Harpy locks up the Atro here. Pretty solid Mighty Conjuring. Plays it in the field. See
Fortunately, we
Ordinary
have
Necromancer up top.
negation and the Viper.
Hmm.
But it's 2 removal for 1. Okay.
It was a very visceral reaction to the uprising coming out there. Yeah, I see negation. Yeah, I think you do have to commit to the Viper here. You see the
Oh,
third
Temple
Conjurer.
Conjurer again.
Yeah, third Conjurer off the top. Takes the value trade, goes for the Conjurer. This is the perfect fingers, though.
Quicker than your eyes.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
Come on.
learn to go with Hack Me as we go 1, 2, 3 on the Atronox and the Conjurer.
Oh, Moose.
Moose. Moose
Perfect
is a very
timing.
good top deck. Yeah, you Moose, and then you can use the Discerning Thief to get rid of some of the unwanted chaff. Yeah, Moosing Shadow Lane just to protect the Discerning Thief.
Feek.
We
Aspe-
find.
Oh.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh.
Oh, we're just finding it all today.
Oh.
Oh! Ditches the spinner, and Ross has a handful of gas.
Oh, what a refill.
Yeah, I think this is going to be way too much value for the Telvanni to deal with.
Expectant lightning bolt in and of itself is 10 damage face.
Yeah. You see Fire Bloom come out. We do have in the third copy of Negation in the hand of Hack Me, but it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough to deal with all of this.
Wow.
As we see the first of the Elfiques deployed here.
Do you just play the lightning bolt face?
I think you hold it for next turn. I think, yeah, you hold. As Hack Me draws a Territorial Viper off the top. Go Negation. Viper to remove the 3/3. Forces the issue here. So,
And this
ooh.
is the strength of Alfeek.
God. Yeah, so we bolt the 3/4 here. Yeah, get in for 7. And then we play the second Alfeek. As well as, yeah, let's reward up the 7/3 here. I mean, what are you, as Hack Me, what are you gonna do against this?
Nothing.
You can,
Yeah, you can see it.
As Raspadal takes a pretty swift game 1.
That was a perfect game of mid-range battle mage.
And we're gonna see a second game of mid-range battle mage as we go into the deal color no support. As Raspadal gets to run back the battle mage versus the combo mage from Hack Me.
And you couldn't even say that the Telvanni had a bad draw per se.
Yeah. He did. He drew pretty much all his best removal pieces. Just wasn't enough to deal with the onslaught.
Even with removing the Breton. Crazy.
Opening hands here. Pretty good from Ross Beardall. You just pitch the Incano. Interesting he chooses to pitch the Rapid Shot there. Finds a Doomfang and a Breton Conjurer, and the hand from Hack Me is a Great Viper Brigand, a Shimmering Peddler, and an Elusive Schemer.
I cannot wait for the turn 4 Breton play, met by and execute.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
But there
you
is
do
the
find a
Rapid
Rapid Shot. Yeah.
For match 2, Rospidor got rid of 1 Harpy, 2 Belly Giants, and shuffled in a Temple Conjurer, a Moose, and an Earthborn Spinner. Hack Me got rid of Firebolt, and Dragon Knight shuffled in a Fingers and an Ice Storm.
Yeah. Ross did not see the same tech choice as I did for this matchup. Oh, man. We find a Warcrafter off the top here. It's a pretty solid Warcrafter, honestly.
Yeah, also some players decided not to sideboard in an evil manner, like sideboarding in Piercing Twilights against the combo decks and such.
See, Mage's Trick off the top for Hack Me.
It's turn 4. Oh,
Yeah.
rough.
But this is the thing about playing these combo decks is if you play against anything remotely quick, you're gonna die pretty fast.
Especially against mid-range. Like against aggro, you can just hope for an Ice Storm and then start to stabilize, but Ice Storm doesn't help you against mid-range.
Yeah, mid-range has a lot of resiliency when it comes to its creature lineup. It's one of the reasons it was so good in Legends. See, second Conjurer off the top here. I mean, I think you trade one of the 2/1s and send everything else face. Play a Conjurer, Rapid Shot.
And then Hackme will
Breaks the
Javelin
ward.
the 5/5, and you will outfeed. And then Hackme will concede.
Finding a Ward Crafter off the top. Really, really good if it's Breton sticks. Firebolt and Fingers for Hackme. You can Firebolt. You can Firebolt the Atronach. It's just awkward because you can full clear, right? You can Firebolt
Yes, you
trade
can.
into the Atro, and then Fingers deal 1 to the Doomfang, 2 to the Conjurer, 3 to the Doomfang.
The good thing with this is that you keep your board. The board doesn't really matter.
But this is an active Alpha
Yeah.
this turn,
That's
and
the
you've just seen one of Hackney's most important pieces of removal come out in the form of the Fingers.
And Fingers is the removal for the Storm Matron.
Yeah. The ability to break the ward and deal 5 to it. See, Ice Storm off the top is just not going to do enough. I want to see Shimmering Peddler come down.
At this point, I would have just considered playing the Chanter,
Just start getting some kind of value going.
because otherwise you just lose to time.
Yeah.
You can't keep up with the mid-range deck.
The Bolt, Peddler, pass. As Ross draws a lesser ward. Gets in for 7.
Or
Like, just gonna
what?
see.
Orbolts could help.
Yeah, so
And watch. Here comes the Chanter.
Okay. Yep, we're doing something. Fork Bolt gets a Schemer. Schemer draws Lightning Bolt. But you can't really do anything else. You can close call the Schemer. But what does that get you?
You probably just stand watch the Schemer.
I think you close call it, replay it, then sand watch it.
You close call
Okay.
the 3/1 in field.
Get it out of the Breton. I don't think that matters though. I mean, if you're Hackme, you're dead to a bolt, right?
Yeah, but if Ross just summons the 5/5, you're never winning against that.
Just passes. Draws the second and the
Aspect.
third finger.
Oh,
Well, I mean, Aspect is gonna seal it up next turn anyway.
So now we have 7 plus 2 plus 1, 10, 11.
Yeah, so Tome is definitely getting played here. Soul's the Dagger. Cradle Crush. Would have been very nice into this board, but unfortunately. At 5/5. Plays the Dagger. I would imagine we're going to see Warcraft come down as well. Yeah. Ward up to 10. 10/7. Reward the Breton. Get in for 10. Hackme does find a Broom Prophecy off the top.
A bit late.
I mean, this still... Well, I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah, but next
it's pretty dire, but we have Execute, we have Fingers, we have some zero-cost actions we can take here with Close Call.
Yeah, the problem is that we have the Aspect.
Breaks the ward. Goes for Close Call. Pulls back the Gearwork. Gets a Schemer. Gains a health, draws card. Finds a red. And then we're probably just going to see the Fingers.
Get rid of Warcrafter, and then 5 damage to the Storm Atro, trade with... Oh. That's...
Yep. Well, that's lethal. Cradle Crush does it. Another pretty rapid game on the mid range. Wouldn't expect anything less from Battle Mage though. As Ross is up 2-0 to Hackney. We go into game 3 here. This is the No Prophecy, No Ice Storms. So this is going to be the mid-range Archer versus the Rage Ebonheart. Opening hand for Hackney is a Scout Support, Drive Mad, and Martin Septim. We're looking at probably going to be a Dune Smuggler and Moorhole Trader keep.
Oh,
Keeps the Wild Card as well. Interesting.
Rospidol
Both
got
players
rid
both
of
kept.
the 2 copies of Dune Reaper, a Dushnik, and a Syrian Broker. Added an Ashlander Punisher, a Leaf Lurker, another Leaf Lurker, and a Task Cat.
Okay.
Hackney did a bunch of changes again.
We see Corner Club Gambler come out. Probably going to drop the Barrel Stalker. Does indeed do that.
Oh, such
Ghost
a good...
Cloaking. I think this Dune Smuggler is just going to come down and save the trader here.
Question is if you attack first or you attack afterwards. Decides to do it afterwards.
Yeah, I probably would have done it before.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, Hackney's going to be drawing 3 cards. 1 for turn plus 2 for the Gambler. We can get a Ring Viper here. See, another Smuggler. So this does put the Smuggler to 3 health. So you can take the trade in field.
It will be an interesting play, but you can just play the Punisher as well, and then next turn.
No,
maybe.
see, doing this saves your it saves your board state. And the cloak makes it 5/5. Yeah, I preferred this line. I think having the 2 smugglers down is a bit better.
You'll just see the Crushing Blow. Should play the Scouts Report first.
Yeah.
Oh, Shadow Shift.
Shadow Shift.
Even better.
Yeah, trade, Crushing Blow, clears the board.
I would have still liked to see the Scouts Report. I don't think the 3-1 is worth removing with the Crushing Blow anymore.
Scouts Report. Keeps on top. It is an imbued Bosmer.
Fortunate mistake.
It's maybe meant to discard that from the looks of it.
Protect the
Ash on the Punisher. Probably going to see Curse on the 1-2 maybe. Yeah. Just stops it from attacking here. Drive Mad is going to answer the Punisher. Can Drive Mad and play the Bosmer.
Your hand is starting to empty, but then you have moves in 2 turns.
Yeah. I mean, you can play this Ornamented Sword just as a creature anyway. Rapid Shock does kill off the Bosmer. Yeah, this Dune Smuggler will have dealt like 9 damage if it goes face this turn. Yeah, play Sword in field. Does it before attacking?
You probably have to get rid of the... Oh, Ghostface instead. I would have feared
agree
the
with this.
Gambit.
No, I agree with this play. If Hackney had Gambit, he would have played it a few turns prior. This does warrant the Crushing Blow. So we're just going to see Old Lothi, just Will o' the Wisp. But this is going to get Belligerent Giant.
You trade with the Will of the Wisp and then play moves in Shadow. Oh,
Yeah, no, I agree with this play. It was either that or bounce the Will of the Wisps. As we see Crossbow, so this does clear the Moose. That is a-okay. See Martin Septum come down.
No man can deny destiny.
Scourge. Scourge is a solid pickup here.
Although you have 8, you don't want to play the Racer and the Gambler because you want to ditch a curse.
Going to bounce to Martin. Gonna try and force an awkward trade here, but Hackney has the Shadow Shift for this. Also drop text a Fell the Mighty.
Also has Leaf Locker, so he could have just traded and went for the Leaf Locker, but this is better because you keep the drain.
Chooses to not attack.
Oh,
I think we're just gonna see Scourge plus Gambler here.
Care to make
Yeah, Gambler pitch curse.
oh.
Ooh, Rage up the top for Hackney.
Do you Fell the Mighty the Gambler? Oh, you have a Rapid Shift and Leaf Locker.
Yeah. You also had potential for Archon plus Rage. Because you were at 12 from the
Shadow
Martin
Shift is
carryover.
good. Can get rid of the drain.
I think you just Cliff Racer trade with the Hiss Mage. Yep. Trade with the Hiss Mage. Yeah, I would have preferred to have seen him Shadow Shift the Scourge and play the Cliff Racer into Shadow.
Probably
Just so
he's
you can-
trying to bait Hackney to attack at least once.
We see a Gambit off the top.
But if
Gambler
you
is
Shadow
a-
Shift the Scourge, then you could have played the Gambler.
Yeah. Archon Venom Tongue.
Yeah, yes. I was about to ask why he did that, but he realized.
So we have Curse Leaf Locker for the Venom Tongue. He's just gonna go slice the hand here. He's gonna get answered with a Fell the Mighty.
You might just curse the 2-1 and then Leaf Locker, anything you draw, and Gambler next turn.
Necro off the top for Hackney. I mean, if you're Hackney, you're happy to just try and flip this Martin.
Oh, Strike.
Yeah, Leaf Lurker.
Then you ditch the curse.
Yeah. So I think you play.
Oh,
Interesting. Okay. Clockwork Scorpion for Hackney off the top. But we're gonna see the Necro come down here. Find a little bit of value. Goes for a Thorn Hiss Mage. Another curse. Yeah. So Gambler.
Care to make a
I mean, you could just ditch the Swift Strike. Second Clockwork Scorpion for Hackney. I mean, you can Clockwork in Shadow and just rage. What does Ross do in response to that? If you just Clockwork plus rage, he does in fact go for it. Gets the big heal, denies the draw. Ross draws a Cliff Racer off the top. I think this game is sealed up.
the problem is that Hackney is also out of cards. So he cannot go face.
Yeah, but at the same time, like plus Sanctuary Pet off the top here, you're deploying these gigantic, difficult to deal with creatures.
Oh.
Tazcat off the top, so that's 10, 16.
Yeah, but Tezcat will trade 2 for 1. So right now you have to get rid of the 2-1. I do think this is just a value game here.
Goes face. Plays Tazcat. He's
Then
gonna
we will
crash
see a
over
Swift
the
Strike.
2-1. Yeah. I don't think you
That's
Swift
into
strike
6.
this. Well, because if you Swift strike, Swift strike, it forces Hackney to go face. It forces the heal. By doing it this way,
And now you have to just discard the Swiss strike.
Yeah. I think so.
Your only solace is that Hackney has only one card in hand. And it's not likely to be a ping, otherwise he would have pinged off the Cascade last turn.
See Brynjolf off the top.
So much drain.
Durzog. Yeah. If you're Hackney, you have to start draining. Ooh. Opts not to is we find a Brynjolf and a Cradle Crush. So we can rapid shot.
And Cradle.
Yeah.
Raz, oh, Raz,
Raz.
oh.
This is gonna slowly start unraveling if Hackney does not start healing. You get in for 4. You play Brynjolf in field.
And Raz just flips the value traits even more so in Rospidor's side.
Drive Mad's a great pickup here. Kills Cradle Crush. But this Raz is definitely going to be a problem. This Raz is going to draw Ross 2 cards.
I slay the unworthy.
Ooh, Cliff Racer. You do have to Raz now though. You need the cards.
And you almost have lethal.
Like I said, Hackney's refusal to go face here, it might just cost him. You need to drain. You're at the point of the game where Ross can have multiple charge cards off the top. Gets a Cradle Crush from Ross. Get in for 4, dropping down to 6. You play Cliff Racer, you get in, dropping down to 2. I think you play the Cliff Racer in field. I think you force this.
I think you just trade, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, okay.
Because he would just heal back. No point in doing that.
Cradles. Okay.
Oh, 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 oh.
That's a solid one to steal.
Gets rid of Raz, plays the
Yeah.
Aelids. And now we'll see an Aelid in return.
Just a bunch of statues all looking at each other.
Rage.
Rage. Okay.
You could protect an 8/8 with the Rage if you want to.
No, I don't think it's necessary. You want to protect the Brynjolf more than anything else right now. I think you just take all the mirrored trades here and just leave the Brynjolf as the last creature on board. I mean, you could Rage on the Cradle Crush and just trade with the Aelid that way. But I think taking all the trades is the correct line. So you find a Mortal Trader off the top. Thieves Guild Recruit draws a card, finds Awakened Dreamer.
Dreamer will not be active. Both Traitor and Cliff Racer are only 4 power.
Plays everything out.
Oh.
Necro, that's going to seal it, right? Necro Rage.
Necro, you bring out the Aldvelothi, you Rage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is even better.
Even more mana. Because Hackney certainly did not have enough. He goes to 21 max mana. Christ. Okay. Let's give him Pyromancer off the top for us.
Just a pass.
Dragon Guard Outcast for Hackney. We see Scourge.
Oh, Skaven Scourge field. You get rid of the 2-1, you get rid of the power on the Venom
On the Venom Tongue. Yeah. Got support for Hack Me.
I'll scout ahead. I'll scout ahead.
This is one of those matches where we see why Castle was so special.
Yeah. It's just, it's... Oh, Rage for Ross off the top now. But yeah, like, this is the situation, like... I do think Hackney does need to be more proactive here with with like going face with this Brynjolf.
What do you want? Oh, okay, fine. Let's go.
Sheer Point. Sheer Point just switches off the Brynjolf now.
His
You can
best
just Sheer
bet
Point
to go
her.
face would have been when he had the Rage in hand.
Yeah. I think when he had double clockwork, I think he was pretty safe to start pushing at that point.
What do you want?
Dragon Guard Outcast number 2 off the top.
Fine. Let's go.
Another Sheer Point that gets rid of that gets rid of the Shadow Lane Outcast. Gambler for Hackmate. Finds a Gambit that'll clear off. That clears off both of the Sheer Points.
But you're out of your runes now.
Friendly wager.
Yeah, you've got no more card draw coming to you. It's just Gambler and a Dream. Leaf Lurker you can't rage with it though is the problem. You could kill the Brynjolf
It's good enough.
just to develop the body. Yeah.
Let's see to leave range unless Hackme draws into an Asphalt.
Finds Yoran, Fell, and a crossbow. So Fell does clear this. Give up Yoran here. Thieves Guild Recruit. Yoran is such a powerful card. We find a Belligerent Giant. Belligerent Giant bounce the Yoran. Oh, bounce.
Oh.
Actually, no, bounce. Yeah, bounce the Thieves Guild. Yeah, cycle again.
Okay.
Yeah, much better play. Finding a Suran Pawnbroker. This can potentially find. Oh, Fire Bloom. Can't play it though because of the Yoran. Territorial Viper, Crossbow.
And this will be one
the
off
giant.
for Respidal. Does not find lethal yet.
I mean, still, Hackney, he can only clear one creature in Shadowlane next turn because he played the Viper in field.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that in Shadow.
We see you waking and sleeping.
And that's
Like
that,
another-
right?
Another Gambler, yep, that's it. That's game over. What a grindy game. Most players would have conceded post-Rage when Ross was like pretty much out of gas. But a series of very, very good top decks kept him in it. So yeah, glad to see he played it out.
A drawn-out victory is always well-deserved.
Yeah.
Or you top decked. A really good card, but usually well-deserved. Dagoth versus Dagoth. But the two Dagoths are a bit different, with Respidor's one being Red Mountain. Also,
Yeah, Red
Respidor is
Mountain
3-0. 3-0, just to point it out.
Yeah, no, Red Mountain was a very smart pick for this. Possibly my favorite card in the game. Terrible card, but one of my favorites. I absolutely love Red Mountain.
I still remember your Red Mountain video.
The very first one?
Yeah.
God,
Just-
that was so long ago now.
An influential one. Let's see. Talvos. Oh, alright.
five.
We are playing the 3-6 costs. Why am I surprised to
Yeah.
see this many high cost cards in hand?
You see, Sentinel Cleric coming down for Hackme. Ross is probably just gonna play Scourge here.
Yeah, unfortunately, missed the ring turn to play. There was no 3-cost creature in hand.
Let's put these to
Yeah, I mean, Scourge is still reasonable. As you see, Satyr Station come down. This is just
Oh.
going to be blocked up by a Prankster Mage. Yep, exclamation comes down. Pretty clean Fell the Mighty to respond to this. Lets you get in for 4, lets you have an active Jarl next turn if you want it. But most likely you're just going to play the Elfique. We see Sadras Agent off the top for Ross. I mean, you could just Blood Dragon Curse. I don't think it's worth double cursing this, though. Yeah, Blood Dragon pass. Sadras gets in for 4. Red Mountain for Ross. Red Mountain is a huge pickup here, actually.
It will keep you safe.
You can Red Mountain ring Tel'Vos.
But so restant Alfiq. This will be hard to come back from.
I am glad that my the tempo assassin video, the Soul Rest Marshall mid-range deck, I'm glad that caught on. I'm glad Soul Rest started seeing a lot more play after that.
Yeah. It's a cool card.
Because yeah, playing Soul Rest into Alfiq is very, very good. But we were just going to see Blood Dragon probably take a trade here with the Alfiq. I would like to see Red Mountain come down and then either ring Tel'Vos or just play Sanctuary Pet. You do need to get the Red Mountain online though, because as soon as you start accumulating discounts, it's going to get out of hand very, very quickly. Ross goes for a Channel Storm.
Single curse.
Goes for a
Yeah,
curse.
second curse, and then fingers.
Yeah. A full clear. Acme finds a Mountain Lion off stop. So Mountain Lion does enable him to play. He can go Mountain Lion and Ogrim, but he's just going to go with Jarl here. Potentially. Thinking about it. he's very back and forth on what he's doing here. Does go for the Jarl.
After the third rotation.
Find second line plus Sanctuary Pet. Hand of Dagoth off the top for Ross here. You can go Red Mountain. Come on, ring out the mountain. Just get the mountain down. Ross, play the mountain, please. Your hand is so cracked if you play the mountain. Come on.
If you don't play it soon, then it will just have no value.
Yeah. Actually, I need to double check. He was running Ash Berserker, was he? No Ash Berserker in the deck. Okay, very interesting.
And no changes
talk-
made to the deck.
Yeah.
On Hackme's end, he added 2 Cradle, 2 Dushnik, 2 Drive Med, and the Doomfang, got rid of Torval Extortionist, Witherhand Cultist, and Gamblers.
Sadras takes the trade. Also, the Doomfang hit both Strength and Intelligence correct, which means it's probably a Battle Mace on top of Hackme's deck.
Yep.
As we see the...
But no Merrick in
Red
this
Mountain.
one, so...
Yeah.
And you will be surprised to see Battle Mages and Slit.
Yeah, was in fact a Battle Mace. That would have been information that that Ross would have been aware of as well. Pretty much the only card of those 2 colors aside from Hand, but if Hand was on top, it would have also gained lethal. Yeah, just some trades and then a Prankster Mage. I'm gonna see Dagoth Ultimate come down potentially. Nope, goes for the Lumbering Ogrim.
Fingers!
Fingers is pretty good. You can go.
Scourge
You
fingers.
can. Yeah. So. Does this change the math all that much? You can knock the ward off the Prankster Mage, which lets you take a trade with the hand this turn. You can deal 1 to the Prankster Mage. You can deal 2.
I would assume you curse the Prankster Mage. Go 1 to Prankster Mage, 3 Doomfinger Eye, trade with 4-1. But he doesn't want to break a rune. So he
Yeah.
does this route instead.
I mean, this is also fine. This means that the Ogrim technically trades with the Scourge because of the curse. Renegade Magister.
Oh. Right after you play the fingers.
Yeah, after the Fingers turn. It's unfortunate as well because Ross doesn't run all that many actions in the deck. Although I say that, and he immediately
Oh.
rips Channel Storm.
Channel Storm.
Channel Storm does clear up one of the 2 of these creatures.
And you don't even have to go face because you have the Magister. You
Yeah,
just
so
play
it's nice.
Magister, Channel Storm on the
Punisher.
Ashander. Curse gets rid of 7-1. That's 3 plus 3, 6. You will have
Yeah,
magic
you can play
left for
Talbot as
Talbot.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the only thing left in the field will be the 4-3. Oh.
interesting.
We can help one another.
Mm,
Experimentation is the core of knowledge.
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
sees the
he's seeing it now. Yeah.
Khajiit will keep you safe.
That one is for us. As Hackney. Hackney is more happy with this. Alright, so we have. Oh, that's not looking good. The
Take off
Alfie.
win is 8. Sanctuary Pet does delay it for a turn.
You have to curse the 5-5 in Shadow. Otherwise, Oathman will favorably trade and still will. Because of the
Oof.
Battle Mace.
Fingers.
We can help one another.
This is just looking rough.
Yeah.
Curse the 5-5. You don't even curse it.
No, you're willing to give it the trade.
1,
2 on the pet. No. I mean, you can do it the pet, or you can kill the Magister.
I would consider the Magister at this point.
Interesting. Okay. Just trades over the other one. Trades the Magister. Develops a second Punisher.
And you have the board and the hand advantage.
Eradicator off the top.
This would give you a favorable, but the Punisher will be at 6.
As Hackme hits Drive Mad off
Oh.
the Rune Break and into a Viper. Hackme is hitting all of the removal here.
Also, Battle Mace could just also help.
Yeah. Battle Mace,
goes
Steel Sword,
for.
Dagger,
Oh,
is
it has
lethal.
lethal. Oh.
Yeah, it's exactly lethal. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Hackney
the
1-1 now.
unfortunate. Yeah, very unfortunate for us there. Hackme just hit all the removal.
No perfect games allowed.
But we do have a Rage Guildsworn mirror match to look forward to at least.
Yeah, interesting that still here we have 2 mirror matches. Just as well as with City Talker.
As we move to the last match of the series here of Ross versus Hackme. It is a Rage Guildsworn mirror match. The opening hands are Hackme is looking at a hand of Gavel, Execute plus Guildsworn Apprentice. Ross looking at Fell, Javelin, and Hide Defender, top decking a Guildsworn Oathman. Hackme also ripping a Fell off the top. So we're going to be staring at each other for a couple of turns here, more
I
than
was
likely.
about to say that none of these hands look as interesting yet, but then Rose just drew the Alfig.
Yeah. One of the 3 Alfigs also finds a Douchnik off the top. Another Fell the Mighty for Hackme. Ross is drawing a lot of the big beefy threats out of the deck here.
And it's exactly what he's looking for. Just trade
The
on
Queen's
board,
Captain.
get ahead.
Ooh, assault is really, really good here. I think you just fire off the assault, honestly. It goes for phalanx.
This is
Interesting.
more
Okay.
magic efficient. I like
Yeah,
it.
it's more efficient.
All?
Yeah, gets felled. Guildsworn Apprentice.
And you just off eek.
Yep.
Just curve out. As all mid-range decks should.
So Hackney can answer this with a Channel Storm, or he can spend another fell.
For the changes, Ross got rid of 2 copies of Earthborn Spinner, added 2 copies of Sentinel Reclaimer, and Hackney got rid of 2 copies of Dragonfire Wizard, 2 copies of Blood Dragon, 2 copies of Fervor, and added 2 cast into time. It will be cast out, and then 2 Queen. I guess that's Queen's Captain, and then
Queen's
2
Captain, yeah.
Rage.
Okay. So we see Hackney ring out a Belligerent Giant here, just bouncing the High Defender for the turn. This is a pretty clean turn to play the Apprentice with Javelin. Then goes for the Oathman, just gets both procs here, gets Fork Bolt plus Improvised Weapon.
Will be important once you draw the Rage, or what will
Yeah.
be able to get rid of a ward.
Yeah, Guildsworn Oathman does a lot of heavy lifting for this deck. It's a very pleasantly surprising card for what it is. Also, 4/6 is very, very good stats to have on a mid range creature. It takes a lot of trades.
It's also the highest cost Oathman. Together with the Telvannigan.
So Ross played out the 0 cost there because with the breakthrough damage he'd be breaking a rune, so this way he doesn't mill. Board. Takes the trade. Cradle Crush.
You probably just fall.
Yeah, I don't hate Fell plus High Defender here.
You could also fall Revitalizer and
Quartermaster.
Wolf is for 3, you don't break a rune. It's perfect.
We must protect
That's douche. Ping off the 2/1.
Okay, then do should fall.
Then, yeah.
Oh! He wants to draw a card.
Yeah, this also sets up a Fork Bolt to clear the Giant. Just making better use of the Fork Bolt in hand. But Gavel is going to say no. He draws 2. Find a Belligerent Giant of her own. Turning Thief comes down.
Is this done in
Ring.
time?
I think this is a reasonable spot to start doing some Belligerent Wars. Ross is ahead on board, so if Hackney decides to not play the game, he's gonna have to spend removal on the Belligerent.
But also Ross's hand is almost full, while Hackney has some hand space yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can, if you're Ross, you can Fork Bolt, you can Crown Quartermaster, you can play the Dagger, and then you can Belligerent Bounce. So you have things you can do here.
You probably forkbolt the 2/1 anyway.
Yeah. Does just go to remove it, rather than getting into a tempo fight. Plays the Quartermaster. Gets in for 4. Gets in for 3. Plays
Forkbolt
Turn
is
Thief.
thief. Come on, yes.
Yeah, I think it's a really awkward situation because like the tempo has been going back and forth quite a lot, but it looks like right now, given the resources in hand, while Hackney is ahead on resources, I don't think he can make use of them all that well. So he can fell and he can fingers
Yes.
here.
Trade, clear everything.
Yeah. But then you're just gonna get Cradle Crushed, High Defendered. And then you have to do it all again next turn. You have to start removing things.
You have the Queen's Captain. That's another removal.
But is it on draw or is it on removal?
I have no idea. I don't remember anymore which one was it. But
Okay,
it is
it's on destroy. Yeah. But then that's your entire turn. Bring Discerning Thief. But then this is lethal
Oh,
with...
what?
yeah, I mean, it was lethal with Reclaimer plus
The
Assault
crafts,
anyway.
And Hackme sees it coming.
Yeah. 7, 8, 9. One over lethal.
4-1. 4-1. Almost the full clear.
Yeah, Ross's lineup was just very, very well built.
Yeah,
Can't really do
nice
much against
showing.
it.
Nice showing.
Proving why mid-range was so good.
He was the most quick on his feet while trying to steal the treasure from the dragon. We'll be back in 5 minutes with CoreData versus Blizzard and Hackney. Stay tuned. And welcome back to the third 5-match series for today. We will be spectating CoreData versus Blizzard Hackme. And to break down the decks for this never before seen player, we have the mysterious CoreData with us to look at the deck lists.
Yep. So for the deck list, for the free picks, I brought two of my favorite decks in the game, and that was the first one being Aggro Crusader. This is my super lean, super aggressive token Crusader list. Mono yellow, so allies always hit. Don't have to worry about ally percentage in this deck. Not too much to say, really. Curved stops at 5. That kind of tells you all you need to know about this deck. It wants to go fast, it wants to go wide, it wants to go tall with buffs. Not too much else to say on it. The second deck I brought was a Mid-Range Guildsworn. Mid-Range Guildsworn, one of my favorite decks in the game. A very, very standard list. Quantities are relatively normal. 2 copies of Rage at the top end. We're running 1 copy of Red Deer. Red Deer, not really the most common inclusion in these decks, but occasionally it combos off an Ancano to hilarious effect. So couldn't really ever bring myself to cut it, but not too much else to say, which is going to be a very, very common theme for these decks. These are all pretty straightforward decks that I brought.
Because you build them.
Exactly. Nothing strange. These are just solid decks. I wanted consistent decks for this. I felt consistency was the best way to go. So next up we had the dual color no supports, and naturally I brought mid-range Battle Mage, one of the most consistent, one of the best decks in the game. Very, very straightforward, very normal. I will say that I was running 2 copies of Mighty Conjuring, a card that I wasn't super keen on towards the end of the game's lifespan. It just, I don't know, it felt clunky for a finish, so I felt like I could have potentially cut it, but I just didn't want to do the testing to find out what I should replace it with. Realistically, probably should have been another Cradle and another Belligerent, but alas, Conjuring can just win games versus aggro in a lot of cases. Also running 2 copies of Blood Dragon in this deck. At least we're not dead on the 5-drop slot. Next up, we have the No Prophecies, No Ice Storm, and I brought Empire of Cyrodiil. No Prophecies was not too difficult to meet. I simply cut the 3 copies of Cloudrest. They were the only prophecies in this deck, replace them with Depot Trapper. Aside from that, it is my standard aggro Empire list, capping out at 5. As you can see, I don't curve to 6 or 7 like most other players. No Clivia, no Wild Incarnate, none of that stuff. We stop at Old Salties. Again, we want to go wide, we want to go tall with buffs. That's why we're running so many buffs with the Captains, the Fervors, and the Oathmans. So yeah, just a very, very sticky deck, very, very aggressive, and very, very quick. Next up, we have the 3 to 6 cost, and I brought a Tribunal list. Tribunal, I think a lot of people kind of settled on Tribunal. It was either Tribunal or Dagoth, I want to say, was the most popular for this, just because they had the best, on one hand, threat density for Dagoth, but also on the other hand, removal for Tribunal. I think I sided on the removal side of things. I wanted to be able to remove things like Handed Dagoth pretty consistently, which is why we maxed out on the solid removal. 3 copies of Edict, 3 copies of Javelin, 3 copies of Lightning Bolt. Some niche choices that I don't think I saw anyone else in Tribunal running. Things like Dragonfire Wizard just seemed like decent value in a format like this, where removal was going to be premium. But aside from that, not too much to say. We had a few uniques at the top end that were also a bit off the wall, things like Vastry and Zumog Foom, but the value from Zumog I felt was worth it. And finally, we have the 2 of list, and I brought Dagoth. So mid-range Dagoth, everyone opting, I think, so far for mid-range blue decks. The only difference is I opted to not go for the customary 3 Alfiks. Instead, I went for 3 hands to make sure I had the turn 5 hand, like all good Dagoth pilots.
And let's see, a test of memory. Do you remember what you banned and what Hackme banned?
Honestly, I don't. I have a feeling to be perfectly honest with everyone watching this, I couldn't remember what decks I even played. I only got reminded of it before we started the deck intros and stuff.
Yeah, it was a year ago.
Yeah, I cannot for life me remember almost any details of this. I remember only one thing, and that was about the dual color no supports matchup, which I will talk about when we get there. But as for banned stuff, I cannot remember. I have a feeling Hackme would have banned the Crusader, just because it's incredibly aggressive. It can just get under his decks. And I have a strange feeling I probably banned the Telvanni, but I cannot be sure.
You banned the Tribunal, Hackme banned Crusader, and this will be our matchup for today.
Okay, so it's going to be mid-rage into the Uprising Telvanni. So we get into game 1 here. Opening hand for myself was a Harpy, Conjure, and Profiteer. I can see myself pitching the Harpy, yeah. And Hackme has a Channel Storm, Cat's Paw, and Odin Necromancer. Pitches the Necromancer, gets back a Channel or a Negation, and finds an Unglum off the top, as we're likely just going to ring up Profiteer. I would imagine. Do in fact go for it. Subscription off the top for Acme here. Wouldn't be surprised to see a negation come out on the property here. Just while you can, just remove it. To be fair, I also don't remember how these matches actually went.
That's a good thing about this. We can watch it
Yeah.
as if it will be for the first time.
Yeah, this is such a surreal feeling seeing games I've played and have no recollection of. I get the only game I remember was the dual color no supports one. As I top tech a Dawnbreaker, can't do anything, so I just pass, which feels terrible.
Must I do everything myself?
See
You
cats
even have
come
the
down.
ring.
Oh yeah, I know. I can see myself potentially going for Execute and Skaven here, like Ring Skaven, instead of opting for the trade. Yeah, no, I keep the ring charge here for Temple Conjurer, and then I can ring the Elfique on the turn after. This line gives me the turn 5 active Elfique. Gonna see Alvalo the Assassin maybe come out here, or an FGR. Goes for the FGR. So I am just going to Exalt Temple Conjurer here. Okay, my 2 health, take the trade. Sequencing this correctly for once.
You could have decided to not trade and have the Alfique be 100% active, but you're playing against Contour Nirvana, so it will be active
Exactly.
anyway.
Yeah, no, I felt it was a reasonable assumption that the Flame Matro would get removed. Hollow Death Priest off stuff for Hackme is going to come out a turn too late here to snipe the Alfique. As we do get this down, make it 7-5. No direct answer in hand for it right now, which is pretty huge. He does have Necromancer to pull back in FGR. He also has Negation, but these all get dealt with pretty easily by what I have on board. And I'm likely just going to drop a Cradle Crush in Shadow Lane next turn just to start splitting the lanes and developing even more pressure.
And also because you like playing Cradle.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very clean Cradle on the Alphalothi. Goes for Necromancer, is going to pull back the FGR I killed earlier. Goes for Catspaw. Interesting, as I find a Rage off the top. I wouldn't be surprised to see myself take the favorable in field. I can also see myself potentially just clearing off field lane. Setting up a Cradle Crush here.
Yeah.
Get in, break the 2 runes, go for Cradle.
And even Ice Storm does not stop it.
Yeah. This was, I think, the biggest reason why I went for this. This was just good into Ice Storm.
For the
Sanctuary
changes,
down.
you got rid of 2 Dushnik, 1 Golden Initiate, 1 Belly Giant, and you gave yourself an Execute and 3 Piercing Twilight. While Hackme gave 3 Death Priest, 1 A-Lead, got rid of Money Marco, Houdanit, Flash Throw, and Amulet. Wow. That's an interesting choice. Not to have +1 Amulet. And you're almost there. It's a prophecy.
After it comes out, locks up the giant. Yeah, the reasoning behind that was I wanted basically more. I wanted to play the 3rd Execute just so I'd have more removal versus the small lethal creatures, things like Sanctuary Pet, like the FGRs and the Alvalothes. I felt like I didn't need the support removal as much. The only support in his deck was the amulets, like the 2 amulets. And then, obviously, against a deck like this, you want Twilights just to remove combo pieces and whatnot. Alright, it's an Assassin into another Assassin. Death Priest hits my Cloud Rest. Could potentially just Rage here to save the Giant. Likely considering it.
Yeah.
Do in fact go
I
for
would
it,
not
yeah.
have been surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because if the Giant sticks, Dawnbreaker is just lethal, and Hackme doesn't necessarily have the information about the Dawnbreaker in hand.
There is murder in the air.
Goes for Thieves Guild, goes for Assassin.
6 left. Can he pull the guard?
Goes for Necro. Necro grabs back the Sanctuary Pet. Sanctuary Pet
that's
shackles up. Yeah. We
Off
find
Feek.
the second Off Feek off the top here.
Now, if this goes in Shadow, it is activated. You will have a 7/5 with Ward. Acme has 3 Minder, but you can deal with that with Skaven next turn.
Yeah, and just
And
deploy
no
the...
other guards. There is FGR. Does that change anything? No, because you have the 2/2 Mummy.
Yeah, the Mummy was... the reason I deployed the Mummy was just in case there happened to be like another guard. Does get the Rally Trigger onto the FGR, which is unfortunate, pulls out of range of the Mummy, but Skaven can deal with it.
This is clever by Hackme, pulling
Yeah,
the Sanctipet back to Shadow Lane.
Yeah, fills the lane just to get the Sanctuary Pet in Shadow. What I really would like to top deck here is the Nerf Bomb Spinner. But I get him for 2. Probably just going to develop Hive Defender here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Javelin the Pet just to make sure. The big thing was I was just trying to maintain the wards. Maintaining the ward just makes it so much harder to deal with. Goes for Camel.
Negation,
And if Hack...
Viper.
Have to take negation here, I think. I feel like you need to negation the 2/2.
Yeah, otherwise you're dead.
But he doesn't necessarily know that. Yeah, so this is then lethal. I can just trade the Mummy and then Skaven, Dawnbreaker up the Hive Defender. Yeah, this is the kind of out I had been playing for. With Dawnbreaker, it becomes...
just in 3 turns.
Yeah, with Dawnbreaker, it works. Dawnbreaker was so underplayed at the end of the game. I will never understand people cutting Dawnbreaker. Just 4 damage from hand is so meaningful in a lot of games.
And now next is Battle Mage versus the Mage. We've seen this matchup a few times already. Let's see if it turns out otherwise.
Do you want to tell them the the sideboard changes for this one?
Obviously. You got rid of 2 Lesser Ward and a Garneg. Who does get rid of Garneg when playing against Control? And you you put in 3 Bedouin Scamp. Now, for those who do not know, tell me, Core, why did you put this unknown card here?
So, because Hackme requires a lot of his cards to cost 0 for his deck to function, putting in a 3-cost 3/3 that makes all of his cards cost at least 3 completely breaks his deck.
So if you remember, there were some players who put in Piercing Twilights in these matchups. So after a while, Hackme and everyone decided to not put in Piercing Twilights. So you got a way around that and you put Bedouin Scamp, which does the same effect here. Shuts down the control combo deck.
Oh no, Bedeviling Scamp is even more crippling for this deck. It basically means he can't go off ever because he'll never have enough mana. So when I decided to make the sideboard change, I was laughing so hard because it was such a silly card to bring in.
And Hackme got rid of 2 Mage's Trick and an Altmer, while giving himself a Standwatch, a Dark Rebirth, and a Harpy.
Yeah, again, the deck lists were open. We knew what the lists were pre-changes, pre-sideboard. And I think we only found out what the sideboarding was after we started playing, if I remember rightly. Or like just before we started.
Yeah, just before you started.
Yeah. Yeah, so
you have Alfik on 6 again.
Yeah, so this turn I was considering bolting my own Breton Conjurer.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, because I figured that spending 4 to pop the ward this turn would be better, because it would give me 5 on the following turn, plus the extra body, plus the chance at an active Alfik. So this was genuinely worth considering here. It wasn't a bad line to take, just because he's not going to be playing many creatures, so Bolt is going to just be burn anyway. So converting the bolt into damage via Atronach was a reasonable play in my mind here, and I stand by it. I still think it's like a reasonable choice. But if I remembering how this game went, it doesn't matter what I do here. So I'm seriously thinking about it. Yeah, and Hackme just scoops it up. The aura I was giving off while considering this play tilted him enough to force the concession.
He had enough.
Yeah. It's a very, very silly game. It's the only reason I could remember that one specifically.
Why is the mid BM roping me on turn 4?
Yeah, he was considering bolting his own conjurer.
And you know it's a problem when he's considering bolting his own conjurer.
Hey man, I think like converting the 4 damage from bolt into potentially like 10 or 15 damage from an Atronach attacking is a reasonable investment.
And
Okay.
it would have been insane because next turn he pops the ring, plays the fingers, 1 on the Breton, 2, 3 on the Forest Throw, and you get the activated Alphic on 6.
God,
So
I miss
stupid.
Tessel. I miss Tessel, man. The thinking man's card game. Just saying.
So for the next match, we have Empire Aggro versus Ebonheart Control. This will be interesting because last week was the first stream for us commentating this, and after the stream, one of the viewers asked me why no one was playing Aggro Empire in the No Prophecies, No Ice Storm slot. And here we are. Core did bring the Empire, so we'll see how it pans out against Hackme's control deck.
Yeah, when it came to like what decks I brought, I had to really consider where best to place things. I figured this would be the best slot for the Empire. 1, because Cloudress is the only prophecy you run anyway, and 2, it basically meant it couldn't get banned. So if I brought it for one of the free picks, Hackme was most likely going to ban it. So this way, I forced him to play against it.
And you didn't know that you can bring the same deck to 2 slots.
Yeah, that was also true.
Which Rospedal and Eidos did.
Yeah. Turn 1, go for a Deep Wood Trapper. Failed to find a 2-drop, which is unfortunate, considering the 2-drop slot is the single most populated spot on my curve. Find it a turn too late.
Trapper is such a good card.
It's very annoying for a lot of decks to deal with. It's a card I underplayed personally. I should have been playing it more often in a lot of decks, but it was just so difficult to make cuts, especially with how like lean and streamlined I had gotten this this build of Empire down to. Like, I felt Moon Bishop was just a bit better in a lot of more matchups, just because of how well it carries buffs. See Marit Septum come down.
Yeah, in the last weeks, I played Deep Trapper in both aggro and control and midrange.
Yeah.
Just everywhere. It might have been the best 1-drop in the game.
I think so.
Without a drawback.
I think so, yeah. 100%.
The 2-4 was better, but it had a drawback.
Yeah, Brother Suspect was also an insane 1-drop, to be fair. Also, I think a bit criminally underplayed. A lot of people were just afraid of, like, the quote-unquote drawback of it, when it wasn't that big of a deal.
So you trade here because you fear that Hackme will be able to use a ping on the lethal, but in the end, he just has the Felt the Mighty.
Yeah. It was the safest line I could have taken. A lot of it's just against a deck like this, where there's so much removal, you have to try and play it as safe as you can. Hackme finds Shadow Shift off the top.
Gatekeeper would have been insane here.
Yeah. Because now I can just go key the captain. Gets me a free trade. Yeah, gets me a free trade over top the His Mage here.
On the other side is that you're down to 1 card in hand. Actually 2, because it's a Morphman. But if I know you, you will find Fervor next turn.
I don't know, I don't think I've ever been that lucky. Gatekeeper comes down. Wilderness comes down behind us. Find Suran Pawnbroker, which isn't bad here, actually.
You could get a silence.
Exactly, potentially get silence here. Markman. We make the trade first in case I do roll a silence. It means I can swing with the I can swing at the buffed creature, just so it doesn't land on one of the fresh ones. But the defenses is going to cause some problems here for Hackme. At least that's the hope, as he finds a crossbow off the top. He has Venom Tongue plus crossbow this turn, so he can clear 2 things in my shadow lane.
Could also do Dushnik and Crossbow. Crossbow on the drain, and then just if you want to drain more, then it could help you. But this is definitely better because it is also ramp.
Yeah, so he shifts the drain out just so we can really attack with it as well.
This looks over.
Yeah, at this stage it is over. I do go for the execute here, I believe, just to clear the 2/5
and get rid of the drain.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Seducer, yeah, it's definitely over.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure as soon as I see the Seduce come down, I wait to see what my top deck is, and I just scoop after. Well, I mean...
no.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, because I thought about it, and then I was like, healing 14? I don't think I can come back from that.
From 23 at turn 7.
Yeah. No, that game was pretty... The first couple of turns, when I didn't have a 2-drop, that kind of threw the tempo back to attack me, which was unfortunate.
Now you're the 3rd player to bring Tribunal against Dagoth. Megacat won with Tribunal against the Dagoth, and those are lost. So now it all depends on you. Let's see if you can be the 2nd person to beat Hackme on Dagoth.
I'm excited because I cannot remember how this went. This is on paper. This is a favorable matchup for me, but we'll have to see how this actually shakes out. As I find Daggerfall, Jack plus Channel Storm. Throw back to Jack. Find Discerning Thief.
Discerning Thief and DFM both. That's the left side.
And the Manic Jack back off the top. Yeah, the reason I keep the Daggerfall in this matchup is there is no good removal for it in this format. Nothing favorably trades with a Daggerfall mage here. It's always going to get its tome. I find an Edict, which is a solid pickup. Hackme is going to have the advantage here though with the ring.
The only answer to DFM is a spinner, and even that doesn't get rid of the body.
Well, technically Malefic Wreath is like the cleanest answer, but no one is playing Malefic Wreath.
Yeah. That's why I said spinner.
Yeah. Let's see, a Channel Storm off top for Hackme. Probably just going to see Ring Mountain Lion here, just to develop a body. Does go for it.
It's not that you don't get to use the one magic that you just gain, but it's still a body and you need it.
Yeah.
T4 Storm.
Being first player. Being first player on the board here is a pretty big deal. I've also just realized I wasn't running Fingers of the Mountain in this deck.
You were, because you put it in. You got rid of 2 Talbos Magister and you put 2 Fingers in. And Hackme got 2 Cradle in, an Alina in, a Doomfang in, an Invoker in, a Fresh Start in, and got rid of Ashkan, Torval Crook, not Crook, the Extortionist, 2 Cultist, and 2 Cedrus Agent.
Jesus, he makes so many changes.
Yeah, always. This is why I usually didn't read it, but
yeah, my changes were all very clean, very concise.
Do you dig the 2/2? Probably not, because there is hand.
No.
You can just go Black Dragon.
Yeah, I think Black Dragon is the correct play here.
You could even play it in field.
I think Black Dragon Field is like the...
Yeah, I know you.
The correct... I'm considering whether or not I want to play like a Manic Jack here, potentially roll.
Yeah, Manic Jack will be punished by... Oh, wow.
I do go for Edict, interesting.
You really like your bodies on the board, but unfortunately for you, you have a Cradle coming.
Yeah. I mean, this is fine. My Telvas lines up well into it.
Perhaps we can help one another.
Yeah.
Sorest. Oh, this style was just on time.
Wait, Seducer off the top. Yeah, it's gonna be Jack Mutation plus 3 drop. Fine,
You're not a
regen, I
good
think
player
play
because you
Daggerfall.
did not roll charge.
Roll charge, yeah.
And now Hackney can Sorest Triumphant Jarl.
Find Holy Spirit, yep, go Soul Rest. You could also just go Cliff Racer and clear off the Jack, maintain his Cradle Crush.
There is no Wardcrafter, so I don't. Oh wow, he goes with Channel Storm.
Yeah, yeah, just spending resources on removing the 4/4s. Fine here. I do have a clear with Abner. Well, I can clear off the Cradle at least. We get our Tome, we take our trade. We just kind of have to pass it back. So he has a Fell the Mighty here. If he wants to take it, he could just trade and develop another Cradle Crush. Does go for the Cradle line here. Opting to hold his removal for a turn. We top take Defensive Bruma. So if I go Seducer, I can then go Discerning Thief, potentially. I can... Yeah, go Black Dragon, I can go Seducer, and then I can Bruma for free, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Seducer...
You should probably do the Seducer in field and then defense and get a favorable, but
Yeah, I think I went this way just to guarantee I get the heal.
yeah. I'm not sure if the heal was important enough.
Yeah. Yeah,
Then
I
having
also
a
prefer
6/6 that usually would trade 2 for 1.
Finds a Sanctuary Pet off the top. No, that was already in hand, never mind. I can Tome. I can go Mammoth, I can go Tome. Leaves me with enough if I draw a Channel Storm to remove
I
this.
cannot wait for the
this
Cliff
Sanctuary
Racer Mentor String. On the Extortionist. Nixox combo at home.
Fell the Mighty on the Mammoth.
Interesting that he's considering going with the Ogrim instead of Extortionist. Triple
draw.
Cloud Rest in hand.
All 3 Cloud Rests, none of them drawn through Rune Procs, unfortunately.
And you wanted
Bold.
to trade favorably so bad that you didn't even play them.
Yeah. Well, there's no point with the Extortionist. They're just giving him resources at that point. Finds an Alfiq. Finds a Triumphant Jarl. Hackney has plenty of refill here.
And also lethal.
Yeah. Cliff Racer Ring is lethal. Yeah. Just one of those games, just wasn't able to get off the ground, unfortunately.
Oh, Hackney was like this Dagoth deck was just so good.
Yeah.
I would when I just looked at it, I also thought that Tribunal should be the strongest, but for some reason, the Dagoth was favored into Tribunal, although usually that is not the case.
Yeah, it was strange with the Sanctuary Pets locking down your larger threats, and then like Fell the Mighty causing issues as well. The Dagoth deck just had a lot more removal than it initially seemed on the surface. It was very disruptive, was the big thing. Okay,
for
and
the
last up we
match,
have the
Dagoth
duels.
switched sides. So you got rid of 2 Lesser Ward, 2 Suprematro, got a Withered Hand Cultist, and 2 Aspect of Your Sin instead. And Hackme got rid of 2 Fair Ward, 2 Dushnik, got 2 Ice Storm and 2 Aspect. both of you shuffled into aspects for this matchup.
Yeah, because this is a matchup about basically just big beaters. Having access to burst damage at the top end was going to be really, really important here. Just try and kill each other as best we could.
Yeah, two mid-range decks just trying to
Yeah,
fight for
Astromancer.
the board.
Astromancer didn't make too much sense playing into a rage deck, which is why I cut it for the aspects. Aspects were just better into rage. This Acme has the Hive Defender. Yeah, you can just douchenick ping it, protect the Berserker.
Protect our stronghold.
This also sets up a Cradle Crush if he takes the trade. Could consider just bolting to get through. Yeah, bolts clears. I still get the Cradle Crush here, which is nice. Acme does have the answer in one of the two Phalanx exemplars in hand.
We'll never give ground.
Does opt to play it. As I find hand, a turn too late, unfortunately, the 3 hands did not help me. But a hand is still a hand.
It's also the the 10-point breakpoint here because you are 2-2. So this match decides if you go on the top of the leaderboard or almost at the bottom with everyone else.
I think I just go redeploy the hand here, drop down a Will-O-the-Wisp in Shadow Lane. Just so I don't get blown up by Rage, mainly. Turns a little bit awkward for Hackme, has to go for Mortal Gatekeeper here. Send it face. I have the reply for this with Spinner, but he's just going to wall up with the Phalanx Exemplar.
You're one off from Spinner and Racer. Oh, but it wouldn't even help because the Exemplar has 6.
Yeah, I can Rapid Shot.
Rapid Shot and Cliff Racer. Or Spinner and Gambler. Or Thief and Gambler.
I think it's just Blood Dragon, yeah.
You don't like to fleet to Magicka. Is the thing.
I think it's worth it just to develop Blood Dragon here, because this is, I think, is the one turn where I can potentially do it freely. Opt instead just to go for the Alfik. Yeah, the reason Blood Dragon, like developing Blood Dragon here on a turn where I can, is because Blood Dragon is just, it's so difficult to deal with. It pins both lanes so effectively. Yeah, exactly. He lines up a Cradle Crush, which is fine. We find Sentinel Kramer off the top. I think this turn is probably just going to be Cliff Racer to clear off the Belligerent. I can go Cliff Racer plus Wardcrafter here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Watch yourself now.
Right, so one thing you have to keep track of is the Sentinel Reclaimer in hand, because the Will-O-the-Wisp will be actually a 7 drain next turn.
Finds another Mortal Gatekeeper. Should target itself just to combat this Cliff Racer to keep it 6-4 alive. Could also just drop it into Shadow Lane to sponge 3 damage here. But it's going to play it on itself.
Could have played in Shadow and then Rage on it. Oh, but you would have traded anyway. Yeah. Channel Storm. Does that help you?
Transform just to remove the Astronaut here. Execute removes the Wardcrafter. And then Seducer.
Set up a Rage
Seducer
for next turn.
Seducer is just likely going to get silenced, I'd imagine. But I am just going to develop the weapons here. Considering if I want to spend the extra 1 on the dagger here, or if I want to drop Blood Dragon.
if you're playing Spinner, then the real question about playing the Steel Dagger is if you want to ditch the dagger with Corner Cup Gambler next turn, or you just go face for one more, but it seems like you decided to keep the dagger.
Go Rapid Shot, just set up the Spinner trade next turn. We silence off the drain just to make sure we don't get got by Rage here. We're fine with the lane clear, but we don't want the healing is the big thing. Hackme is in range of Aspect plus Dagger, so... Finds Rift Lane off the top. Also has Aspect, but is going to go for a Rage. Clear the lane, gets in for 3, gives me a card. Find a Spinner, and that is lethal.
Yeah. Also, you just missed lethal last turn, because if you would have Rapid Shot first, then you would have been able to equip the Steel Dagger on the 6-2, make it a 7-2, and then Swift Strike.
But we take it, 3-2 versus Hackme.
Yeah, you got 15 points.
Which is not too bad. To be fair, I think I got a little bit unlucky in the Empire matchup, just with missing the 2-drop. I think that cost me that game potentially, just because how that deck plays usually. So a little bit unfortunate. Could have potentially been a 4-1. I don't think there was any world in which I was going to win that Tribunal versus Dagoth 3-6 costs. I think that Dagoth deck was just a little bit too good.
So you said you got unlucky, but there was someone else who got even more unlucky than you, and it was me when I played versus Hackme. Because oh man, that's serious. Everyone watching will see a montage of it. We will not cause the matches themselves because I'm here to be last. Although I did not want to go with a 0-5 against Hackme. I could have won 2. I would have been at 10 points, but the matches did not turn out very favorable for me. In one match, Hackme literally had the perfect hand, and then in another match, I obviously overdrew Journey. In the single match that ever counted where I should not have overdrawn Journey. So this is why it went 0-5. But we will look at my deck list yet, because I want Core to have fun with them, because they are not your usual decks that you would see here. But let's see.
Didn't you bring like all Shrine decks or something? Didn't you do something stupid?
I obviously did something stupid, but no, I was not that stupid. So for the decks, let's see. Let's see if Core knows me well enough. We have the first 2 decks here. It is the decks where you can bring anything. Now tell me, what decks did I bring?
Well, definitely some variant of Doomcrag. Or Doomcrag, sorry. Yeah.
Obviously, we have a warrior here, which can only be Doomcrag. So you were right on the one deck.
So, well, I mean, I'm not exactly a Doomcrag expert, but I'll
This
try.
is why this will be fun. I will set a counter, and every time you said it will go up in the bottom left corner.
Okay, all right. You know what? That's fair. So this is Doomcrag. Doomcrag is a deck that basically focuses around its namesake card being Doomcrag Vampire. 6 cost, 4/4 friendly creatures in lane have lethal. Basically, you're just trying to maximize the lethality, like the kill potential of your Doomcrag by playing a lot of cheap things like Lord Firebrands, Ashlander Zealots, Sharpshooter Scouts, as well as like other ping effects to basically just control the board until you essentially draw your entire deck with Disciple of Nimira and Nimira's Shrine. At which point you will then journey, and then you will attempt to play the game properly. Is that roughly correct?
Playing the game properly means 6/6 Firebrands pushing phase damage, because that's how you should be playing the game, with 0 cost 6/6 charges, because they are balanced.
Yes, exactly.
So the next deck is obviously House Tilvani. You can guess which one it is.
Nixox. 100% Nixox.
I know that you don't like to explain this deck, and I just did a video on the Heroes of Earth version of Nixox, so I can explain the deck, which means that we have a control combo deck here. Nixox is obviously around the card Nixox, who gives 5 Magicka for you on summon. We are using Earthfix Uprising and Divid's Experiment to abuse the Magicka gain on Nixox. The combo is that you play Genius Path Mage first when you have 14 Magicka. When you play Path Mage, you will have 7 Magicka left, which means that you summon a 7-cost creature from your deck, either Path Mage or Nixox. You hope for Nixox here, because if you go Path Mage, then there could come up a play where you won't be able to do the combo because your board becomes full. But let's say that you pull a Nixox, you go up to 12 Magicka. Now you play Dark Rebirth. We have 2 copies of that in the premium version and then 1 copy of the non-premium version. Difference is if you play the premium version, your Path Mage will be shiny and you will feel stronger. And if you got unlucky, then you got the non-premium version and Path Mage will be boring. Now, after you play the premium Dark Rebirth, the reason why you play the premium is that it looks better on the stream. Then you get a Laneth, because you will be at 12. From 12 you will go down to 9 Magicka, and the only 9-cost creature in your deck is Laneth. You pull an Uprising from your deck, because Laneth can grab any card you want, which is well balanced, and you get the Ulfric here. And then you play Uprising. You go down from 9 to 2 Magicka. You will gain 5 Magicka first from the Nixox, and then Path Mage will summon a 7-cost creature from your deck. Only Nixox is there and the other Path Mage that are still in the deck, and you hope that you don't pull them. Now, after you got the Nixox there, and the Path Mage there, and also you can grab any card you want, you will grab Divid's Experiment, and you will use it on Laneth and Nixox, sacrificing your Path Mage. At this point, from the Laneth, you will grab an Uprising again, and then you have a full board. You will grab 2 creatures because you have 2 Laneths. You will go for the Mentor's Ring and for the Giant's Bat, and you will push the Mage face and win. At least that is the plan. However, this is not usually how Nixox is played. I will tell you how Nixox is played. You get a starting hand, you full ship, because all of them are Uprising and Nixox and Path Mage, and you cannot do much with that outside of a control mirror. Now, you full ship your hand, and you get Oda, Aelitz, and Laneth. You first curse because you drew Laneth, and you need Laneth in your deck to do the combo, and if Laneth is in your hand, then you have a much worse chance of winning. But now you have Laneth in your hand, so you might actually concede, but you don't because it's a tournament. You start playing, your opponent is playing aggro. By turn 6 you're dead because you didn't find Ice Storm, and then that's how Nixox is played, usually.
I will say, when I did the Nixox video, like one of the last Tesla videos I made, in most of the games I ended up just hard drawing Laneth before the combo turns. It kept happening. It feels terrible. It sucks. It's
This is why you play Galen, by the way, because then you can get your Laneth back.
So you're playing Galen specifically to make sure there's a Laneth in deck?
Yes.
Because we're so terminally ruined by variants all the time.
Now, for the next deck, we have dual color, no support. Please try to guess the deck, or I think even just going for the class is enough for the first time. Which dual color
Crusader?
class is my favorite that is not running supports?
Oh god, I don't know. Because I want to say Warrior, but
Yeah,
Shrine.
unfortunately, Dunkrag is running supports.
Yeah. I would say Crusader, but then Fervor.
Yeah, it's not an aggro deck.
Is it Mage? No, it's hardly Mage.
It will be Scout,
Oh, Scout!
and then you know what
Sorry.
the deck is.
It's like Uprising Scout.
Obviously, it is Uprising Scout. You are playing against Hack Me, and you have to show off that you're also a cool guy, and you like Nixos, Dunkrag, and Uprising Scout. Which is the 3 decks that got me into the game, because I was looking, like, I was literally the first time I saw Tassel, I was looking at the Master Series stream, and I was looking at Link and Hack Me playing these decks. And that's what got me into Tassel. So obviously for the Final Summer Tournament, where I got my chance to play against Hack Me, I brought these decks. And also I am running double Aelitz and triple Cold Dragon, but only 2 Word Walls, because why would you need 3 when you have Night Remember and Uprising 2?
Well, you see, you don't need 3 Word Walls, because you only need 2 to reach max level. So you only
Yes.
run 2.
Yes.
Oh man, this is so unbelievably greedy.
Obviously it's greedy, but I knew I was playing against Hack Me.
You know what? Fair. I cannot see how this is gonna win against that combo mage. I think that might be unwinnable.
Yeah. Well, you know that I won 0.
Yeah, you know what? Fair.
My plan was to giant bat Solitaire and get out of lethal range so he cannot lethal me in one turn. The plan did not work out. I repeat, the plan did not work out.
Gain enough health so he has to rope out while trying to kill you.
Alright, to be fair, I almost Hollow Death Freeze the Terrana. And that was the real win con.
Okay.
But I was a turn late. Anyway, next deck is also Scout for the I just remembered what deck this is. You're never going to guess it. No Prophecies, no Ice Storm. Please try to guess it. What other Scout deck is there that is... You would never play it. You wouldn't even consider playing it. But it's me, and I want to run the most stupid decks possible. I'm a Shrine player. Please, don't disappoint me.
Is it Doomcrag Scout?
No. There is a Shrine deck that is Scout and is playing Journey.
Oh, Abomination.
Obviously, we are playing Abomination Shrine Scout.
Oh, the classic Max Abomination, the original one, the best one.
Yes, the original one with 3-Feather War Chief, because actually 3-Feather War Chief is the best card in game and makes all my Shrine combo decks playable.
It's amazing how that works, huh?
Can also be pulled by Fleeting Apparition. I seriously think there would have been a way to make this work.
Probably.
The only decks
We'll never know.
this lost to were the stupid control decks.
Oh, you mean the Greed Fest decks? That's just...
And the normal control decks, and the mid-range control decks. But yes, actually it did good against aggro because I have so much removal, and it did fine versus mid-range because of finish off.
Yeah, I mean, Drain Vitality and Debilitate are still... I mean, even nerfed DV is still DV.
Anyway, so we have this one. Now, for the 3 to 6 costs, yes, I did go the boring route.
Okay. It seems like most people went Tribunal.
Actually, this is the only deck which deck I actually took seriously. The curve is a bit aggressive, but I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, this is fine. I don't see anything wrong with this.
I drew a Dogship hand and I lost. Anyway.
Yeah, I know how that feels, don't worry.
For the 2 of decks, I had a Sorcerer because there was actually one deck that ran almost just 2 copies of everything that I really liked to play. It's not a deck that you will guess, but I will try to help you. It runs almost 2 copies of cards for each cost.
Cards for each cost? What deck cares about that?
There is a card that cares about cost of cards. No, it's not Haskell.
I was about to say, is this a weird Haskell deck? But no, it's just 2 of you couldn't play uniques. I don't know. Oh, Tinkering. It's a Tinkering deck.
It's an Alter, Control, Tinkering, Conjuring, Portcullis, Dark Harvester, Shocking Womasu deck that for some reason is also running Necromancer's Amulet, and this was the most fun I had with the deck outside of Doomcrag, actually. This deck was so fun to play.
When I saw the Portcullises, my mind snapped like Bone Armor.
Yeah, but that would have been you.
Yeah. I should have brought a Bone Armor deck. That was a missed opportunity.
Also, with Headless Zombie, I can play 4 copies of a card.
Oh, true.
So it's okay.
Very true.
So this is my lineup, and I went 0-5.
Sorry, I've just seen the 2 copies of Shocking Wamasu at the top end.
Yes, because you need something for 8, and you can tinker it for 9 and 10, and you can Desperate Conjuring it for 10. It's perfect.
I feel like there was probably better things on 8.
I really did try to look at 8 costs, and this was the best thing that I could have gotten that isn't Ancano. Because I cannot play Ancano in this. Originally, I would play Ancano, and I would play 2 copies of Altar. I would play 3 copies of Ice Storm, and 3 copies of Necro, and 3 copies of Tinkering and Conjuring, and I would not be playing Elusive Schemer and Bone Weaver. But that's the only change.
I mean,
from my actual deck.
With Bone Weaver, you have even more copies of Headless Zombie.
Just to play 5 copies of Altar, I get it. So yes, there was a reason I went 0-5, but I should have won 2. Now, if we look at the standings in the end, We have Rosperdal in first place with 20 points. We have CoreData second place, 15 points. We have Nocturnal, Magaket, and City Toker on 10 points. Endersur and Eiros on 5 points. And we have no one in the 8th place because I came to be 8th. But just this was just too fast to get 8th. I wanted to work for it. And before ending the stream for today, I know the second half of the stream got a bit off rails, but it was Core Envy playing. So let's actually look at Hackme's decks and see how they did during the stage. So in the dual color no support slot, Hackme was running the mage that we saw so many times. We see all the classes that were played in this stage. You see that mage was played twice, and then battle mage was played thrice. How do you feel? How did Hackme's deck do against all these decks here?
I mean, against the slower, greedier stuff that people brought, it did really, really well, which was the matchup it was kind of aiming for. Hackme, a famously control-oriented player, loves his value. So yeah, it made a lot of sense that it beat the slower decks. Unsurprising that it lost out to some of the faster stuff.
Yeah, as we can see,
yeah,
here we have only 2 decks losing to it.
Oh god, never change.
And then we go for the No Prophecies and No Ice Storm deck. We have Ebon Heart on Hackme's end, but this was a controlling one. And we had a wide variety of decks here. Regarding the colors, this was really... It's interesting to see no intelligence in this one, because intelligence was one in not if the most played color out of all of these, and then agility was second. And here we just see red, green, and purple.
Yeah, a big reason for that was the lack of Harpy. Harpy is one of those cards that is like so incredibly important in a lot of matchups. Think of it this way, that when you look at the 2 drops that blue has access to, it has very few that are actually playable in the grand scheme of things. You have Warcraft, you have Harpy. That's kind of it. Temple Conjurer if you at a stretch, but that's more of a 5 drop because of the Exalt trigger. So blue not having access to one of its best 2 drops in Harpy means that it just had like nothing to do on 2 or in the early game. And a lot of the tournament players like Endo, Rosperdal, they're all geared to play more aggressive decks usually. So when you're looking to build a deck in a format specifically with no prophecies and no ice storms, you're looking to play something aggressive because you can't be punished as hard, which means that when your main, well, one of your primary 2 drops is no longer on the table, it just takes that color completely off the board, which
and
is why
also
we're
the
seeing
4th
no
drop
blue.
with Lightning Bolt.
Lightning Bolt, people were trimming that actually towards the end of Tesla. I didn't understand it, but people were running 2 copies, people were running 1 copy, people were running no copies in a lot of decks. So that's less impactful, but the lack of Harpy was definitely a huge impact.
Yeah, as we see, this was a balanced matchup. Hackme won 5 times and we won 3 times. Then for the 3 to 6 costs, we had, as you see on the right side, all Tribunal.
That's a whole lot of Tribunal.
And on the other side, we have everything. Interestingly enough, Rosperdal, who went 4-1 against Hackme, did bring the Dagoth here, but this was Hackme's best deck. He only lost against Megacat on the Tribunal, and everyone else lost against Hackme.
Yeah, it was a really tricky stage to build for. And like I said, Hackme's deck just had a lot more interaction than it first seemed. With things like the Sanctuary Pets were back-breaking in a lot of cases, just shackling stuff down and just instantly killing like Hive Defenders and stuff. It was not fun to play against. But yeah, no, I'm unsurprised with this. That Dagoth deck was a beating.
And for the 2-offs, we have all the intelligences run here, and here almost everyone outside of City Talker is running intelligence.
Yeah, just everyone pretty much played mid-range for this because that was the deck best suited, like
Yes.
the 2 of restrictions. So when it comes to mid-range, blue is such a good color. Wardcrafter giving tempo, Harpy giving tempo with the shackles. You've got Alfeex, you've got Lightning Bolt, Channel Storm, Discerning Thief, obviously one of the most insane cards in the game. Blue made a ton of sense. I'm very unsurprised to see it be the best and most represented color for this.
Yeah, also triple Guildsworn, one of the Battle Mage. We have one move Assassin, and then the only non-aggressive deck here is Mine, which doesn't count.
I wouldn't say mine was aggressive. I was definitely playing playing pretty strict mid range.
To me, mid range is aggressive.
Jesus.
And we went 3-5 against Hackme on the 2 off slot.
Yeah, it was a trickier matchup. See, the thing was that there was a lot of like kind of semi mirrors, like with Endo, and then you had like Ross and Magaket on like the mid range assassin and mid range battle mage. There's a lot of like half mirrors that are very difficult to navigate in a lot of cases. So it's
Even your
unsurprising
match
to see
was
this.
kind of a mirror.
Yeah, it was very difficult to navigate that correctly as well.
It's also funny how we have 2 sorcerers, but they couldn't be more distant from each
Yeah.
other. And with that, we reached the end of the first stage of the final summer tournament. One thing that we will look at yet is all the stages here. So this was the first stage, Challenge the Champion. We had all 8 of us playing against Hackme. From the next stage onward, we are still gathering points until we get to stage 3, where the first elimination will happen. But it will be just the 8 of us playing 3 matches against each other, always in a Swiss format. Next stage will be mid-range battle mage mirrors, then we go to a preset aggressive curve, then we get the bottom 2 eliminated, and we continue with favorites, then with the normal summer tournament format that you got used to, bringing 4 decks, banning 1 and playing a round robin. Here the points will not matter anymore, so the points count up until the 4th stage. On the 5th stage, the win rate will decide who gets to go to the finals, and we will have the finals on January 31st. 8 decks to band, best of 11. This is what we are looking at. And then if we look at the schedule, we see that next month there will be no stream, but we are coming back on October 4th with the mid-range battle mage mirror. This is also Saturday. Interestingly enough, we will also see each other at 17 Central European summertime. Or will it be? No, it will be still summertime at that point. And then we move to wintertime by November 1st, but for the most of the countries that won't change the starting time. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in 2 months. Goodbye.
Bye bye.